You said this place was steps from the water.
We just haven't found the steps yet.
How much did we save?
Enough.
Enough to get lost?
Or you could book a stay with Hilton.
Welcome to your oceanfront room, just steps from the water.
The Hilton sale is on now. Book on Hilton.com or the Hilton app and save up to 20% to get the stay you expected. When you want savings, not surprises, it matters where you stay. Hilton, for the stay.
Some things are impossible to miss, like an elephant in the room, or a bull in a china shop, or this season's amazing offers, brought to you by PayPal. Discover offers from hundreds of brands like Viator, Allbirds, and Tory Burch right in the PayPal app. Save an offer before you check out with PayPal and earn unlimited rewards. Download the PayPal app to get started. Terms and exclusions apply. See paypal.com/rewards terms.
Live from New York, it's the show that's throwing their support behind Stingray Rob. Little slow on the pole position.
The show is not.
Really? That's your
Stingray
guy?
Rob was, I believe, is starting in last place.
I gotta tell you,
But Stingray Rob, welcome to Team Wilds.
You know how like Usain Bolt has the perfect name for being the fastest man ever?
Yes.
I think the opposite might have happened with Stingray Rob. You know who I'm gonna go with?
Pillow. We get it.
My guy. Where's he starting? I missed qualifying this weekend.
He's got the pole.
He's got the pole. Has he won half the races already this season?
Well, yes, there hasn't been that many races.
He's 3 of 6. Pretty good.
We're going to Indy on Wednesday. We'll be there Thursday, Friday. Are you staying for the race? I'm staying for the race.
Well, here's what I do
Meet
know.
and greet.
I'll be there. Brew has to get out of town.
I do, unfortunately.
Friday night, though, second annual. And you'll be there this time.
You're going?
First things first meet and greet at the
Some casino 20
He
miles away.
got you to go?
No, I'm not.
KW's gonna go. We're gonna
like a
watch the
riverboat?
game together. It's not a riverboat. There's a racetrack there. It's great. You'll
There's
be
some
there.
rough customers out there, I heard.
Yeah, it's good.
Be careful.
It's a good time.
First hour of First Things First today. Wemby versus SGA tonight. Why Brew thinks one of these teams is already facing a must-win.
Wow.
Yes,
Loved
yeah,
it.
absolutely.
Meanwhile, look who's back in the building and on the field. It's Aaron Rodgers. But should the Steelers have targeted a different quarterback? We discuss. And finally, Mahomes versus Josh Allen on Thanksgiving.
Love it.
Why the Chiefs season might be
What?
cooked. That's a cooking reference for Thanksgiving, Josh.
There's going to be a lot of Brew projection from Wilds about the Chiefs and Ravens in today's show because we haven't seen him since his biggest nightmare came true.
Look,
Week
it's
one,
probably
buddy.
good.
Why?
Thin line between worst case scenario and turns out that was good for me. Aren't you the only guy that says that?
No.
Be careful. What's your bad luck? You try to be like
you're butchering
you
the
try to be
Cormac
like your
McCarthy
grandfather thing.
No, never underestimate the awful luck your bad luck saved you from.
Hello.
That's one thing. Getting your
that was
teeth,
nothing like
getting,
that.
That's Seahawks week
getting
one.
your teeth kicked in
Absolutely
week one by the
nothing like
team that
what
kicked
you
your
said.
I don't know.
teeth
Is
in
the
the
Super Bowl
Bowl.
MVP there? I don't see him. All right, we're starting in Detroit.
fair.
Donovan Mitchell had 26, reaches his first ever conference final. Got a lot of layups. So much for that Detroit defense. That was so great. How about I just lay the ball up? Harden had 9, missed every 3, but he was plus 31 on the night. Figure that out. Cavs win by 31. Here's Donovan on getting to the conference finals.
A breath of fresh air, but like you said, we didn't just come here that wasn't the goal when we started the season. Even last year, when we lost Indiana, we had our goals set on getting to the finals, and we're just one step closer. I personally, and as a team, we can breathe a little bit, but in the same token, we can only breathe for about 12 hours and then get right back to it. So it's a balance. It's a blessing. God is good. And I wouldn't be here without my teammates, but we got work to do coming up for sure.
Okay, it was an impressive victory, Brew. Did that make you believe the Cavs can win the East?
Well, first, let me say congratulations to the Cleveland Cavaliers, one of my hometown teams.
Yes, there's several.
I did not pick them. They proved me wrong. And in true Cleveland fashion, they did it with toughness. Cleveland's a tough city.
Yeah, unlike Detroit. It was very
Detroit, I thought Detroit was a little tougher, that team. But the Cavs out-rebounded Detroit, which was a really good rebounding team this year, 50-41 yesterday. Outscored them in points in the paint, 58-34. So they attack the rim against the Pistons. So I want to congratulate the Cavs, and I have referred to them as a finesse, wink, wink. Let's not go through that again, but wink, wink team.
Yeah.
All right. I will no longer refer to them as a finesse team.
Wow.
They have graduated. They have proven their toughness in the playoffs. Good job, Cleveland. And because of it, I want to salute, even though I didn't pick them.
What is he doing?
I want to salute my hometown Cleveland Cavaliers. Cleveland! This is for you.
That's great.
Wow.
Go ahead, Wilds. You try it.
It's time now
Don't
for
break
one of
it
the
like you
worst
did
bits
last
that
time.
we do on the show.
What's a bit? I mean, I'm trying to give you redemption. Last time you did it, you broke it. It didn't
It's
work.
too small
it's
of a
going
prop,
to work.
first of all, but here we go. Got worse.
What's wrong with it?
segment got worse. Why should I
Why doesn't it work for you? I bet you it works for Nick.
Let me see. Let's
I
try.
bet you
I've
it
never
works
been
for
allowed
you.
to press
You
it.
didn't pick
Hold on a second.
I'm from there.
Doesn't make it just editorially doesn't make sense.
What?
He didn't pick the Cavs either.
None of us picked the Cavs.
I
except
think
for
I
Danny.
picked the Cavs.
No, you didn't
No
pick the
chance.
Cavs.
No
Well,
chance.
you did not
I don't
pick the
remember
Cavs.
not picking
Go
them.
ahead. You can have
All
a back
right.
group.
All
Go ahead.
that said, Cleveland, I salute you. All that said,
You have to say no.
Knicks in 5.
Come on, no.
I'm just saying.
No,
I'm
can't do
giving
that.
objective analysis.
With a
I wouldn't mind
mystery
being
button.
wrong, but Knicks in 5.
5, make it 6 or 7.
I'm
Five,
telling you what's
not
going to
5.
happen.
It's not
3
5.
of my 4 teams are left. I'm seeing this.
I'm
5.
this.
All right, 5.
right,
I
five's
just
aggressive.
quickly,
Yeah.
the Cavs aren't very good defensively, right? That was okay against Detroit because you really had one offensive
One
player
guy
to
to
worry about.
Okay.
With the Knicks, it's going to be 4, sometimes 5 guys out there that you have to worry about, and so the Cavs going to have to outscore them, and I just don't think they're going to be able to do that.
So I'm going to do something similar to Brew in that before I give my answer to this question, I do want to give credit to some people. Joel Embiid, because he's won an MVP, has ascended above everyone else on the never made a conference finals list. Best player to never make conference finals. So he's kind of, sadly, in a category by himself. But without Embiid, it was Dominique Wilkins for my whole childhood, kind of growing up, as the best on that list. And Donovan was steadily rising on that list as far as most decorated player ever to not ever make it out of round 2. He is 8th all time in playoff scoring points per game. And he started his career off as a dynamic postseason scorer. When those teams lost early, Rudy got blamed. Then he went to Cleveland, and they kept coming up short to the tune of firing coaches or making major moves. And it finally felt like he was going to get some of the heat had they lost this series, even though they were playing the 1 seed.
Right.
And so Donovan stepping up the way he did in Game 7, and Allen and Mobley, because I know we give Danny a hard time about the Big 4 piece of it. Harden was a mid-season acquisition mercenary. The team build was around Donovan, Evan Mobley, Jared Allen, and those 3 guys all played different versions of an excellent game yesterday to the tune of blowing out Detroit, which we'll get to in a moment.
And they clearly, Harden wasn't great, but those 3 were great. So
to where it didn't matter.
And all he had to do was not turn it over.
Right. You and I joked, I think, on Thursday or Friday about the inevitable 2 for 11 from James Harden that was coming. It ended up being a 2 for 10, and it flatly did not matter.
Right.
So with all that said, I have amazing news for Cavs fans.
Okay.
The best news imaginable.
Picking them?
I'm picking the Knicks. Because I have gotten almost every series wrong. So I imagine for sports fans, the last thing they want is for me to sit out here and explain why their team's going to win as a guy whose playoff bracket looks about as disastrous as one possibly could. And the reason I'm picking the Knicks is quite simply, so every series the Knicks haven't played in the Eastern Conference playoffs has gone 7 games. Every series has been a war. Meanwhile, the Knicks have dusted their 2 opponents. I understand the Hawks series went 6, but they were down 2-1 and then annihilated them. They annihilated Philly in round 2. I do think they're getting OG back, and I do think that while it won't be the focus today because they won, Harden's performances in Game 6 and 7 are going to loom large in everyone's head, and Cleveland's performance as a team in Game 6. When you have an opportunity to close out a team at home and you just sleepwalk through it. You sometimes see teams sleepwalk through a road Game 6 knowing we have a home Game 7 in our pocket. Now, to their credit, they were able to just flip the switch in a Game 7, so it didn't matter. But I just don't think that at any moment this postseason, I've been overly impressed with the Cavs. I give them credit for what they've done, but needing 7 to take care of Toronto and it just being a home road series. This series here, where with 2 minutes left in Game 5, I was like, all right, the Cavs are done. They're gonna, and so I give them credit for accomplishing what they did, but I think the Knicks, especially because it looks like OG is gonna be back, have just been a runaway train so far. So no, I don't think they're gonna win.
Are you saying 5 or 6 or 7?
I didn't really. I'd be surprised if it went 7. And so I would be saying 5 or 6. I think probably Knicks in 6 is what feels about right. Knicks go up 2-0, and then it's 3-2, and then the Knicks close it out in 6 and go.
I will say this for the Cavs, for those that want to believe in the Cavs. They have great talent. I mean, you can argue they are as talented as the Knicks. Obviously, Harden's a little older, but you can argue they're as talented. And they're fairly deep, too. So they can match the Knicks with depth and talent.
It's a great Donovan versus Jalen.
Yeah,
postseason.
There are some reasons to believe in the Cavs.
Yeah. You say 9 days rest for the Knicks. We are in rust territory. Josh Hart was even joking around about it. Do you think they're going to come back like, wow, 9 days, we're totally fresh? I'm a little worried about them.
Cavs need to get game 1. This is a game they should try to.
9 days.
9 days is a lot, and I would maybe prefer to be a team coming off 3 days rest than the team coming off 9 days rest. But the fact that the Cavs will be coming off 1 day rest, having played a brutal 7-game series, I'd rather
Two
be
of them, really.
Right, exactly. I'd rather be the rested team. And I do really think, and we'll probably talk more about it tomorrow, the Knicks desperately wanted. We did a lot on this show about how the Knicks wanted Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah.
And then when the Cavs traded for him, it felt like the consolation was Jalen Brunson. I believe in their tenures in Cleveland, New York, Brunson's been better.
Yes.
I think Brunson at this point has, by a hair, but has established himself as the better player. But this is a fair fight, and it'll be interesting to see these two small scoring guards go against.
Cavs' first conference finals appearance without LeBron since I was a freshman in high school. Nick was in 2nd grade, and Brew was an established journalist. 1992. I guessed you were in 2nd grade.
That's covering high schools in the Cleveland area.
All right, meanwhile, the number 1 seeded Pistons, point blank, embarrassing. 31-point loss was the 3rd largest Game 7 home loss in NBA history. One game was from the 1940s. The other was when Luka torched the Suns. Here's Cade, who had 13 points.
No, that game sucked. Being back home, definitely wanted to get this win in front of the fans. Reminded me of last year, losing on the home court. It's not a great feeling. It was a great opportunity this season, to move forward and to continue to, experience new things that we hadn't been exposed to. Fell short. We were right there, but we fell short. So, I think that chip and that sting is going to sit for a while.
Okay, Brew, was the Pistons season a success? They were the number 1 seed. They won 60 games, but...
Well, I'm going to give you guys some advice first.
Oh,
Greg Jennings is here. He'll be in the football segments. I've been mocking him all day with chants of Detroit basketball. He's from Michigan. Yeah. He's not taking kindly to it.
Well, that's kind of rude, bro.
So be careful around him. He's
team
serious
just suffered
about
a devastating loss.
I'm joking, but he's like, I'm messing with him, but he's dead serious.
Yeah,
like, he
I
ain't
would
really
imagine.
playing around. So
I wasn't going to think to lock Greg.
I had to lock my door up there.
I am going to do it next segment.
In the moment, it doesn't feel like a success, obviously. Anytime you're the number 1 seed, you really should, and I imagine do feel like if we don't get to the finals, it was a failure. So I get, and then in this series, they did blow, Game 5. We talked about they're up 9 with 3 minutes left.
Yes.
You have to win that game. You win that, things are different. So in the moment, I get it. It looks like a failure. But overall, I think the grand scheme of things, I think this season was a rousing success for them. Because 2 years ago, they won 14 games. Last year, they were the 6th seed. They go out in the first round to the Knicks. And they essentially have the same team. And this year, out of the blue, they win 60 games. They're the number 1 seed. That roster is not a 60-win roster. It's not a number 1 seed roster. All right, they got one great player in Cade. And then, we talked about it as the series was going. Orlando really has a better roster than them, at least offensively for sure. And they might not get by Orlando if not for Franz Wagner. His injury. So what I'm saying is they got so much further and more success this season than that roster would suggest to you. And that's J.B. Bickerstaff, fantastic job as a head coach. And I also think, Nick, you found out who you really are. Like Jalen Duren now.
Yes.
I'm looking at him. If I'm Detroit, ideally, I want to just sign him to the qualifying offer. Now, he's a restricted free agent. They could match anything. I don't know what teams are going to offer. Some teams, Brooklyn, Chicago, they got money.
The Lakers will make him an offer.
You think for sure?
Yeah, they make him an
And
offer.
with Luka, he's that type.
I do
because you're not going to run plays for him, but Luka can get him lobs and stuff. So. But,
I don't know if the qualifying offer gets it done, but he played himself out of a max.
But if he
absolutely,
and
what's
if
the
he gets
offer?
It's weird.
It would
it's a
be like $9.6 million.
But
$9 million?
No, because then KW he becomes a true unrestricted.
So they
year.
still could re-sign him.
So some guys want to do that so they can then hit.
The only way it'll probably happen if he's disappointed in the offers he gets on the market, and you know what? Let me come back.
If people don't know, I don't want to interrupt, but just because people might be a little confused. Unrestricted free agent. Negotiate with anyone, sign with whoever you want. Restricted free agent, the Pistons will make him whatever offer they want to make him or not make him an offer. He can accept it or not. And then he can negotiate with another team. As the Lakers offer him 3 years, $120 million, making it up.
Sure.
Because he's restricted free agent, the Pistons can then say, we match.
Yes.
And that exact deal you agreed to with the Lakers, we get you for it. So
if I'm them, I'm letting the market determine
where he's at.
Now, I'll say he's better than Daniel Gafford, obviously. Yeah. You saw what Luka did with Gafford. Yes. So for the Lakers, that does make some sense. And then Asura Thompson, too.
Dude.
I would wait till next season. They don't have to give him a contract extension now. Wait, because his offense is completely Asar, just work on your jump shot all summer.
Yep.
I hear that lethal shooter guy that makes the Jolly Ranchers, you and your brother.
As well.
Really?
Exactly.
Right.
You and your brother.
Absolutely.
It's worth, as a family, $1 billion
yes.
for you two to develop just a corner three. For real. You're multiple max contracts, you two young men who are so great at everything except for shooting.
Yep.
If you just become C-plus shooters, you'll make $1 billion collectively in today's NBA.
Absolutely.
So that's why, Brew, I struggle with this being a success because it puts such a mirror on, man, we got a lot of holes to fill.
Yeah.
It's very funny. I look at the Pistons going into next year very similarly to how I look at the Lakers. They have one unbelievable do-it-all offensive force.
Right.
I really like the coach. A very intriguing and interesting free agent case in Reeves and Duren. Oddly, I think both teams might be like, you really can't because they're both free agents, but can we just trade those two for each other? We get a scorer. We already have centers in Detroit. I think it's hard to do because one's are unrestricted, one's restricted. But it makes a lot of sense. And then other guys you like for specific skill sets, but aren't 360-degree players, be it Rui or Asar or whomever, and where you just feel, man, we are a piece away from being a piece away. And the Duren thing is really fascinating because I don't know what happened to him. He seemed like the least likely type of player to hit a playoff wall. He was an effort, high-efficiency big man whose scoring got cut in half
it's not good.
over It's not a huge sample size, but it's 14 games.
The whole playoff,
it's
yeah.
2 7-game
It's
series.
the biggest. No one has had that drop like that since the merger. So it's a historic drop.
I think Wilt had a huge drop, but that was the year he averaged 50.
Right.
So it went down to 35 points a game or something in the
No, going from 19 to 10.
Yeah.
And not having a single huge game. So that's
and the first round, he was matched up with Wendell Carter. So it's not the second round. You could say, Evan Mobley.
And here's the other thing, just before you go, because you alluded to getting blown out at home in Game 7.
Oh, well, that's.
So I threw out the one from 1948 because that technically wasn't the NBA, it was the BAA, which then got folded into the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
So here are the 5 biggest in NBA history. And what you'll know is the Suns the next year traded for Kevin Durant. The Celtics, a year and a half later, traded for Kevin Garnett. The Knicks that offseason traded Randall and DiVincenzo for Towns. The Kings didn't really make any massive moves, but it was kind of
we're the Kings.
right. They were just thrilled to be there, right?
Yeah.
When this happens, teams react, and so I don't know what the reaction.
I mean, they
for
need
Detroit's,
to react. The question is, what can they do?
What can they do? What do they do? Go ahead. I interrupted where you were.
No, that's that. Now I'm trying to think of what moves they can make. I had 2 questions for you.
Yeah.
One, Kate had 13 and 5. And again, it's one of those sort of perverse.
It's an insult to not
attack. So to be like, 13 and 5, you lost by 31 on your home court. Like, so be it. That's okay. You're first team All-NBA. If that happened to Luka, and then you're like,
no, but who's the guy that I say has the perfect NBA life? Guy who would happen to.
Maxey?
Devin Booker.
Oh, Devin Booker.
Is that.
Yeah, but that's the levels of it. The fact that nobody's killing Katie, missed every 3. Look, if you want to lose, the game gets away, but 31 was bad. So that's one question, or just more of a statement. The second thing is this, and this is a little meaner to the Pistons. It goes back to what Brad Stevens said about the Celtics being the 2 seed, and Brad Stevens in his
was like, we weren't that good.
We weren't. We actually weren't that good. There were so many teams tanking. We weren't actually a 2 seed. Their 60-win team, where in your mind you can think of other great 60-win teams, was this whole season a mirage.
I mean, they were down 3-1 in round 1. And it kind of feels a bit like one. A little bit, Brew, at least.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, clearly they're not a 60-win caliber team. And I think it's good that they know that now. Had they won this series and maybe lose to the Knicks in 6 or whatever, you may think you're closer than you actually are.
Yeah.
So they got to make a lot of moves.
Here's what I will say for basketball fans, even though, again, I predicted everything wrong. The 2 best teams clearly in the NBA all year are the 2 teams playing the Western Conference Finals.
Yes.
And the 2 far and away preseason picks out east are playing in the Eastern Conference Finals. It was supposed to be Knicks, Cavs out east given the injuries to the other teams. They ended up there, and the 2 teams that differentiated themselves out west, they ended up there. So this probably is the best possible conference finals matchups we could have, even though it's weird because the seeding, it's 3 versus 4 in the East.
Yep.
But that
I really wanted to see Detroit, New York, with the way Detroit handled them in the regular season, and then the Knicks have changed.
Yeah.
So I would have picked the Knicks.
Greg, see if that
it would have
sticks.
been fun.
Well,
You'd be like, look, it's actually really
It's good news for you.
SGA wins the MVP. Shams reported the news because it's his job to report the news. Shea becomes the 14th player to win back-to-back MVPs. Quick list. Russell had 3 straight. Wilt had 3 straight. Kareem went back-to-back twice. Moses, Bird had 3 straight. Magic, Jordan, Duncan, Nash, LeBron did it twice. Steph, Giannis, Jokic, and now Shea. What does it mean for SGA to join this group?
First and foremost, I want to say this. The voters got it right. You know, all year long on this show, we did Brew's ballot, and I would go to the mattresses for Luka, and Brew would go to the mattresses for Wemby, and it was always, this guy should be second, because Shea was the MVP this year, and people might be surprised hearing me say that because...
And he was my vote.
And correct, that's what I'm saying. Brew, even while he was arguing for Wemby, was arguing for Wemby to be second, because some of Shea's hijinks annoy me. But that doesn't change the fact he was the best player in the league the most effective player in the league this year. Best might be more of an opinion thing. He was the most effective guy. It's his 4th straight year averaging at least 30 on at least 50% shooting, and this year he did it on 55% shooting for the best team in the league. He's a deserving MVP, and now I get a little personal redemption.
Oh, thank goodness.
You better not mess
The
this up.
greatest guards of all time.
Can't mess this up.
This is as of this moment today where I have Shea. 10 would either be Kuzzy or Chris Paul, but I didn't want to feel like didn't want to argue about it. I believe Brew, almost inarguably, if they win the title, he leaps weight. And you could argue if he wins the title, he leaps a few of the guys in front of him.
Yeah.
And, Isaiah Thomas is a different discussion. And when we show the accolades, Isaiah's lack will stick out like a sore thumb. It's one of those you had to be there type of things, even though I was only 3 years old. I know, but you might disagree. I think a lot of the people who like him the most were the people that were there, not that everyone who was there likes him, if that makes sense. Let's not talk more about it.
Not as good as SGA, that's what I'm
Okay, I disagree, but regardless. Point is, and Brew, let me ask you this, and we don't have to go to the other graphics because I want to go to Brew. If somebody says in a month, if they win the title, he's the 5th greatest guard ever, that it's Jordan, Magic, Kobe, Steph, SGA, do you think that's at least a legitimate opinion, even if you don't agree with it? So I do too. I think that is an allowable opinion, so to speak, if they win the title.
Yeah, I'm similar to where you're at. I was going to say, if you consider him a point guard, because it's hard to know what exactly to consider him. But if you consider him a point guard, he's moved into the top 5. And I got Magic, Steph, Oscar, Isaiah, SGA. Yeah. You can argue already he could be 3rd behind Steph, ahead of Isaiah and Oscar. If they win the championship, he almost certainly, as much as I love Isaiah, as Isaiah is a good friend of mine, he's probably going to kill me. But if they win the championship, you can put him at number 3 probably. I mean, he would have 2 rings, 2 MVPs.
So it would be Magic, Steph, SGA.
Yeah, if they win it, I don't know how to argue, but that'd be a legitimate move. If you consider him a shooting guard, then you got Jordan, Kobe, and SGA. Like, I think you could put him ahead of Jerry West and Dwayne Wade. Dwayne Wade, especially if he wins this championship, he definitely goes ahead of Wade. Yeah. And I had Jerry West at number 3. So you could put him ahead of Jerry West, and he could be the 3rd. Here's the problem for SGA. His game, and this is a compliment, but I think it's the problem for him. His game is all substance. Now, I know you could talk about the foul bait and all that. All substance, no style.
Yes.
Every one of these guys I'm talking, Magic, the greatest, flashiest passer ever. Steph, the crazy 3-point shots, crazy handle. Isaiah, miraculous handle, great finishes at the rim in traffic, all that. With the shoot, Jordan, just, of course, Air Jordan. Kobe, similar to Jordan. SGA has none of that.
It's hard to do an SGA impression.
It's also hard.
It's basic,
made this point,
mid-range stuff.
He also, and maybe he'll get it in this playoff run, there isn't a moment you think of.
That's right.
Because he doesn't have the flashy finishes at the rim.
He also, even just like, if you say Steph, I think of the 40-footer to beat OKC in the regular season. The year, and this was Jason Timp's point, and I think it's smart by him. There isn't a singular close your eyes and think about it, and maybe it shouldn't matter. I do think that hurts people. Yeah. Like D Wade even has it's a commercial, but it's fall down 7, get up 8. And when you think about D Wade, you think about him crashing the basket, all of it. And so I think that probably works against him. But the accolades and the accomplishments are irrefutable.
Is Patrick Mahomes the winner of the schedule release? We discuss next on FS1, the Fox Sports Channel, here on FS1.
When you're at work, you never know when you're going to get interrupted. Like when an office fire drill happens right in the middle of your presentation, or construction is going on just outside your window. But with the Dell Pro laptop powered by Intel Core Ultra with vPro, no matter how many interruptions you have, your laptop won't be one of them. With battery that's optimized for the way you work and built-in intelligence that quiets distractions the moment you're trying to focus, your tech won't slow you down, even when you're getting bounced from an office you forgot to reserve. The Dell Pro, built for those who stay in the flow. Find technology built for the way you work at Dell.com/Dell-Pro. Built for you.
Great news. Aaron Rodgers is in the building and on the field.
He's back.
First day of OTAs in Pittsburgh. Rodgers there after agreeing to a one-year, $25 million deal. Unites him with Mike McCarthy. Compensation in the vicinity of Malik Rodgers' deal. Malik Willis deal. Malik Rodgers doesn't exist.
Well, it probably does.
Probably does. Shout out to Malik. I don't know if he plays quarterback or not. Malik Willis and his Dolphins deal. Should the Steelers, also Greg Jennings is back. Should the Steelers have signed Malik Willis instead of Aaron Rodgers?
Greg, I'm a little disappointed in your guy, Mike McCarthy. Mike McCarthy, I think, has earned a reputation of, I get the absolute best out of my quarterbacks. Whatever your ceiling is, I can get it out of you. Now, I understand Rodgers post-McCarthy won MVPs as well, but Rodgers got to MVPs with McCarthy. Dak Prescott had his best seasons with Mike McCarthy. Yep. And now that I see that Pittsburgh was willing and ready to pay $23 million a year, and when I see that Malik Willis signed for $45 million for 2 years, and I understand Malik Willis has familiarity with Dolphins head coach and front office, but that was a defensive coach, and Malik Willis has made no money in this league. He was going to go where the best money was. It's also, particularly, I would imagine, Malik Willis understands what the Dolphins' depth chart was going to be, like that he is signed up for a very tough task. I would have liked to see Mike McCarthy say, hey, why don't we go with, for the same price, the younger guy who I can make look even better, who gives us, the Pittsburgh Steelers, for the first time this decade, to have the same starting quarterback in 3 consecutive seasons. They haven't had the same starting quarterback in back-to-back seasons until this year with Rodgers, and they know it's not going to be long-term. He's 42 already, will be 43 during the year. So forget the fact that I think Malik Willis might just already, under neutral coaching, be better than Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
He certainly has more upside and a longer runway, and it gives you a shot to actually have the quarterback position answered for more than one football season. Yeah. So if the money's the same, it's baffling to me that they went this route. So my answer to that is yes.
So I agree with a lot of what you said. However, I think when you are the Pittsburgh Steelers, and their mindset is win now. They are not a bottom-out type of an organization. With that mentality, you hired Mike McCarthy, which a lot of us felt like that's a safe bet. Like we don't feel like Mike McCarthy is like top 5 or maybe top 3 in court or head coaches, but we definitely don't feel like he's in the bottom tier.
He's a Super Bowl champion.
Like very comfortable, safe bet.
He'll win games.
The same can be said with waiting for Aaron Rodgers again. And I say this not to throw shots at the Pittsburgh Steelers, but when you've had the type of success that they've had and they don't really bottom out, you fear that. You don't want to experience that. And so you go with somebody who last year allowed you the opportunity to win that division, who gave you a playoff berth, although they didn't perform well in that playoff game. But the floor for Aaron Rodgers is so much higher in your mind and in reality. To be honest, we don't know what Malik Willis's floor is. Then Malik Willis, and his ceiling, however, is not as high.
That's the thing. I don't think his ceiling's as high as Willis'.
His ceiling is not as high, I don't believe, because you have a younger, unproven but a very dynamic quarterback in Malik Willis, who there's just a lot of uncertainty. But I truly believe the relationships that Aaron Rodgers has developed in Pittsburgh kind of played a huge part in him coming back and McCarthy going this route, because there's a part of me that feels like if Mike McCarthy truly wanted to pick his guy or a guy, he's going to go with the younger guy, the guy that he can develop, just because that's his calling card.
Yeah.
Look, I get for Cam Hayward, TJ Watt, even the DK Metcalf, some of the veterans they probably wanted Rodgers back because I'm sure they don't want to hear about 2027's draft. They don't want to hear about the future, like rebuilding. They want to try to win now. And I imagine you'd agree, like, they believe they could probably have a great year this year. That's what football players believe. Professional athletes, we can get it done this year. So, but I think had you brought in a Malik Willis, I think they still would. I think they'd be high on Willis. Because even if I don't know how much they followed him last year in the few games he played, but you can just show them some film, show them some of the stats, some of the wins that he had, and they could, see, okay, this guy has a lot of potential. So I agree with everything you said, Nick. Like I think they should have went after Willis. And I'm actually predicting, I don't think this is going to work. I believe Mike Tomlin was holding that thing together, kind of getting more wins than they should have got. I think they're going to have their first losing season since 2003. So 23 years. And because look, and this is the last 2 years of Rodgers and McCarthy in Green Bay. With Rodgers starting, they were 8-10-1. And we know it was, there was some thinking that Rodgers wanted McCarthy out. I'm sure, obviously, they've mended fences. But I'm just saying, it wasn't working. Matt LaFleur resurrected Aaron Rodgers' career. And so I think it's going to be a tough year for the Steelers.
So it's kind of a prisoner of a moment type of a feeling that you get in Pittsburgh, where you have a quarterback that comes in with the resume of Aaron Rodgers. He actually delivers to a degree. At least he delivered more than what expectations out there, at least in the media.
He won the division.
He won the division. He actually played decent. He wasn't lights out, but he played really good football. He's clutch. He's going to be very accurate with the football. There's very few downsides, but those downsides of him getting rid of the ball and kind of playing with a little anxiety or antsiness, those are huge. And when you add receivers like Michael Pittman and you start adding pieces, you start to believe, well, he didn't have this last year. Maybe he can give us a little bit more. And I don't know how true that very well may be.
The biggest downside is it guarantees you're in this position next year.
Right.
Guarantees it. And so this is like, from a television take strategy perspective, this is a terrible take to have, the one I have here, because my guess is that this year, Rodgers is going to look better than Malik Willis because of the infrastructure around the two players. I think Malik Willis is in a brutal situation, and almost intentionally so in Miami's standpoint. So he might have some of the worst numbers of any starting quarterback in football. I just don't think that will be a true fair test of what he would be in this circumstance. Right. And it's not that I'm a Malik Willis huge long-term believer, but there is a shot that if he had signed with Pittsburgh, that he was the starting quarterback this year and the next four, that he is just their guy. And there's no shot of that with Aaron. I just don't understand it with the money's the same.
Patrick Mahomes is the #1 beneficiary from the schedule release, according to Eric Edholm's winners and losers column on NFL.com. First 5 weeks, Broncos at home, Colts at home, Miami and then the Raiders. They had 10 wins combined. Then a bye. Wow. Edholm writes, if we're thinking about it simply through the prism of Mahomes' rehab, the schedule lays out in such a way that he and the Chiefs have a chance to gear up before the tension begins to mount.
So great.
Do you like how KC's schedule played out?
Listen, typically I don't like the early bye, but typically my quarterback's not coming off a reconstructed knee. And I look at these opening 4 weeks, and listen, what do we know Patrick Mahomes is going to be doing very soon? What do we know?
Brew, you do it.
What do we know?
Dancing at Travis.
Exactly. And what do we know he's going to be doing in week 1, starting on Monday Night Football? With that said, throw the Chiefs' schedule up. If it were announced he's out until the bye, we're like, okay, I guess we'll just be 3-1.
Sure. On the board.
On the board. For
on
real.
The board.
Heavy dose of Kenneth Walker. Added benefit of, we now all of a sudden have the youngest secondary in the league, so they'll be at their worst early.
Yep.
And you have Bo Nix coming off ankle surgery. I don't know if it's going to be Daniel Jones or Anthony Richardson.
Right.
And then
Riley Leonard, maybe.
Right. And so perfect for that young secondary to kind of get its legs underneath it before. Now, there's a cost to everything. They have 2 absolutely brutal 2-game road trips where they at Seattle and then at Denver in weeks 7 and 8 and at Buffalo and then at the Rams in weeks 12 and 13. Those are brutal road trips. 4 brutal road games that are back-to-back and back-to-back. But if we're under the assumption that Mahomes is going to be at his worst early, the Broncos are a very tough opponent. Don't get me wrong. They're an excellent team. But having that be at home on Monday, the extra 4 days compared to how early the season could have started, and then another home game, and then road games against 2 of the worst teams in football, at least last year. I mean, I like it a lot.
I totally agree. I mean, like you said, 3-1 is definitely on the board. And Denver, remember, Bo Nix might be playing. I mean, playing his first game off the ankle surgery. Mahomes, if he plays, is obviously more equipped mentally to handle coming off an injury than the young Bo Nix. So even that game is certainly winnable. So, yeah, this works out perfectly. It obviously gets tough at the end, but they can really stack up a bunch of wins early in the season. So I do think it's great for them.
It's not only favorable. If I'm not running the Chiefs, shocker. If I were running, I slow play it. You're not going to even play against Denver. I know it's Monday night. I know it's the opener. I know it's at home. I would, as a fan, I would be shocked. But if I'm running them and Patrick Mahomes has a chance to start against the Colts, the Dolphins, Raiders, to get to that bye and then go into the Chargers, Seahawks, and whoever else.
You're worried about the pass rush?
The pass rush. They've had issues. I don't want him going up against a top-tier defense right out the gate without having had time in training camp. If he doesn't, we'll see what that looks like. But
concerning.
It would be one of those things that's on the board. Maybe he doesn't play
Monday. With him dancing at Travis's wedding? Yeah. I mean, he was golfing this week and recruiting Cam Jordan. He was golfing and recruiting Cam Jordan.
I'm going to be honest, Nick.
I mean, look at this.
Being that I've played football on this level, it's a little bit more strenuous than dancing.
That's a lot of torque.
That's a lot of torque on the knee. Like just, Greg, you played football on this level. And I don't mean to put you on the spot, but you can't even tell what knee had surgery on there. You can't even tell. You're trying to rack your brain to remember. Was it left knee or right knee? You can't tell.
It is a lot of torque.
It's a lot of torque. You think they're going to lose week 1?
No, he doesn't. Greg doesn't believe in Bo Nix. Of course it's on the board. Everything's on the board. Dell PCs with Intel Inside are built for the moments that matter. For the moments you plan and the ones you don't. Built for the busy days that turn into all-night study sessions. The moment you're working from a cafe and realize every outlet's taken. The times you're deep in your flow and the absolute last thing you need is an auto update throwing off your momentum. That's why Dell builds tech that adapts to the way you actually work. With long-lasting batteries so you're not scrambling for the closest outlet. And built-in intelligence that makes updates around your schedule, not in the middle of it. They don't build tech for tech's sake, they build it for you. Find technology built for the way you work at Dell.com/Dell PCs. Built for you.
We're going to head to Minnesota now. Anthony Edwards may have been too good of a sport. 8 minutes left, Wolves down 33. Chris Finch throws in the towel. Ant walks over and congratulates the Spurs. Amazon postgame, Dirk Nowitzki, not one for hot takes. Don't know if I've ever heard one. Says, I've watched the NBA, been part of it for a long, long time. I've never seen this. A guy walking into the huddle 8 minutes to go in the fourth quarter and dapping up the entire team. Too much for me. Here's Ant.
At that point, you know you ain't going back in, so you're just trying to get them the respect they deserve.
Oh, okay.
Some props.
Any issue, bro?
A little bit. I won't kill him. He got killed by some people. It was just odd. He was on his own bench and walked across the court to dap them up in their huddle. Now, had it been they call a timeout, maybe he's under the rim near the Spurs. On the way, he like, hey, man, good.
Yep.
But this was odd. Now, I don't think Anthony Edwards is calculating. I don't know him, but I don't think he's at all calculating. No. I don't think he did this for show or anything like that. I think he really was just trying to give them respect and didn't think it was a bad thing. I'm just like, just wait till after the game. You again, unless you're already over there and you're, hey man, you know, great game, congrats, whatever. But to walk all the way across the court, that's really the only problem. I don't think his teammates will have an issue. A lot of the old school guys did. But I would rather him have just waited till after the game.
No, you didn't even want this in the show.
I didn't even want this in the show.
He's like, I don't understand why it's a big
deal. And
deal.
I'm going to be really,
It's good sportsmanship.
I'm going to really.
Put it here, friend. Hey, put it here. Great job. Hey, you knocked us out. Put it here, friend. Have you seen R.C. Buford? I want to give him an attaboy, R.C. Buford. Anyone seen the Coyote? Coyote, great job. Put it here. It's Mono
he
here.
To beat the drum.
It's Mono over here. Mono, great job setting the standard. It's just ridiculous.
He should have brought the drum out, right?
Hey, can you mind, guys? You mind if I show up to a scrimmage, help you guys out with the thunder? Maybe I'll pretend to be a SGA. It's too much, dude. It's too much.
Wow.
Okay, can I?
You hated it.
Well, I didn't hate it, but it's just
no,
ridiculous.
you clearly hate it.
It's just ridiculous.
Bro, who's the only, forget NBA, but sports-wide superstar to call out KW in a multi-million-dollar
I like
right.
him, but this is ridiculous.
Okay, so now I'm going to do something that you're going to find super annoying. There was 8:01 left.
Okay.
If there was 1 second left, you'd be totally fine with it.
Yes.
1:01.
Yes. How about? I'll start with you. All right. How about the beginning of the game? It's 2-0.
No.
And it's like, oh, gee whiz.
No,
How about
hold
halftime?
on. No,
but you think
Wait,
with 101, like, I just don't think he needs to walk all the way across the court. Like, just wait till after the game.
I think that,
like we've been doing for 100 years.
if he has been taken out for the game, which is what his rationale was, I am not bothered by this at all. His coach, to me, here's the only way the criticism of Ant is fair. Because the criticism, the people loudest on the criticism, aside from KW's comic act there.
You're right at the top now.
You are conceding that you've lost. That's the criticism. The criticism is the game's not over, fight till the end. If that's the criticism, then it needs to be at the exact same volume for Chris Finch. Because, and nobody minds Chris Finch taking out the starters. Do you know what it means when a coach takes out all the starters?
People have taken out starters forever.
Yes, absolutely.
How many times have guys gone over to the bench?
I'm not disputing that it's rare or odd. Of course it was strange and odd. A lot of things can be unique or first time that I have absolutely no issue with whatsoever. And I have absolutely no issue with Anthony Edwards acknowledging this game is over. You have won. Our coach is acknowledging that you have won. And I'm congratulating you now, as opposed to the way it's been done in the past. I guess my point is this. I am yet to hear anybody, except for the criticism, which I find totally hollow, which I don't think is yours, which is you're admitting you lost before you lost.
No.
Unless that's the criticism, then I don't know what the actual end of the thought criticism is, other than it's rare. Like, why is this bad? Why? If it's okay to do at the end of the game.
I am not saying it is bad. I'm saying it's ridiculous.
Why?
Tell me why it's not ridiculous to go over and congratulate a team not even halfway through the fourth quarter. I'm not saying it's bad. I barely have an issue with it, but it is ridiculous.
But why is it ridiculous is what I'm saying.
Because the game still got a significant amount of time left. It's not that it's over.
But
I'm not saying you should go out and have hard fouls or anything. I think it's strange. I think it would be weird if Wemby did the game, you're out? Wemby's going to go over, hey, great job. Would that be?
Well,
I wouldn't have an issue.
To me,
that would also be ridiculous. No, if it was done in good faith. Wemby's like, great job.
If it was done in good faith, I would. Yeah, if Wemby was still in the game and he saw Ant was checked out for the game, Ant had hugged Chris Finch, and Wemby walked over there and dapped him up, I'd have no. As long as it wasn't like trying to stick it to him.
No.
I would have no problem with it. I just don't know what the actual negative impact is. And I don't
wait
think
till the
anybody
game's over.
That's
all there is to it.
It's
just like when a guy doesn't. Like I remember LeBron caught a lot of heat because he didn't give Orlando.
Yes, this is the opposite of that.
It's not that big of a deal, but it's just what we do.
Bonjour, compadre. It's the
Priceline Negotiator.
How do I negotiate so many great travel deals? My greatest gadget, the Priceline app. It's got hotel deals, flight deals, rental car deals, all of those deals in a bundle. Deals, game day deals, concert trip deals. No one deals more deals than Priceline. Hold your horses, there's more. The app lets you filter hotels by neighborhood, vibe, star level, and amenities like pools and spas and beachfronts and... Wait, I'm not done. Stop cutting me off.
Priceline! Live from New York, the show is counting down the days till we're at the Indy 500 2 crew. New Garden.
Buddy.
I was on New Garden's website getting some merch.
Were you?
Well, I looked at some of the merch. I didn't need to. I wanted some cooler merch. Just wanted like the number 2, cool stuff. I'm a New Garden guy.
I hope it goes. Here's my ideal finish. Pillow 1, Pato 2, and then
Helio?
I was about to say soft spot for Helio.
Yeah, that's fine.
Soft spot for Helio.
I like Stingray. I like New Garden 1, Stingray Rob.
You know what? All
Stingray
you can
Rob wouldn't be bad.
We can make some Stingray Rob related bets.
Great.
I'll give you great odds.
Excellent.
Great odds. You can win some money if he just finishes the race.
Today, Patriots revenge season has started. I'm ready for
I
it.
love that we're showing Pat's lowlights now.
Why are we doing this? We were in the Super Bowl.
Well, how'd that go?
What? That's Hubs. A Raiders interception.
Wait, here's a 6 Super Bowl play. Let's see what happens. Oh, a little duck.
Wow.
Quack, quack.
Meanwhile,
These are.
will Josh Allen feast on the Chiefs secondary? Probably.
Oh, the Chiefs won 6 games. Zip.
What are we doing?
I love it.
Josh Allen, friend of the show. All right, we're headed to the hardwood. Western Conference Finals start tonight. Spurs Thunder. San Antonio beat the Spurs 4 times in the regular season. And Drew, you've loved that stat.
I sure have.
But guess what? Josh came through with some context. He's heard you say that for months now, and he's tired of it. This season. First 25 games, they're 24-1. We're like, hold on, is this the best team of all time? Then they lost a few, and then they took their foot off the gas and went 21-14. And all 5 games against the Spurs, where the Spurs won 4, came in that middle section.
Did the Spurs cause the malaise, though?
I mean,
Did
that's
they play
up for
the
debate.
Spurs, and then they were like, man, we're not that great.
Then the last 30 games, guess what? Back on fire, 27-3.
Didn't play the Spurs.
That's true. Thunder favored by a touchdown. Game 1 tonight.
Touchdown.
Yeah, 6. I don't even know if when I say touchdown, I mean 7 or 6.
Usually favored by a touchdown would mean 7, but also usually when you say favored by a touchdown, it would be not be football.
I'm not doing the halves, though.
But I'm just saying, you definitely don't mean 6.5.
I'm just a guy, I'm not getting any extra checks from our sports.
All right.
Who's this a must-win for?
This is an absolute must-win for the OKC Thunder.
Oh, wow.
No question. All right. I'm not buying that little graphic. Good job, Josh, but I'm not buying it. All right. Because I know this. After the Spurs beat them a few times, they were like, oh, okay. All right, enough of these young boys. Let's show them what time it is. And they still got beat. All right. 4-1. They beat them 4 times by an average of 11.7 points a game. All right. I mean, for a team that won games by 12 a game over the course of the season, to get beat essentially by 12 points a game 4 times means something. Now, the Spurs, the Thunder are telling themselves all types of things to rationalize it.
Okay.
All right. Like, well, we were 1-1 at home against them. 3 of their wins came in San Antonio.
Yeah, that's one.
Okay, so if they beat you tonight
One was in Vegas, I think.
in OKC, right? If you beat them tonight in OKC, then that's gone out the window. That little we beat them at home one they beat us once. That's out the window.
Out the window.
Second thing, that was the regular season. This is the real deal. This is the playoffs. Well, if they beat you tonight, that goes out the window. The other thing is they're rested. They haven't played in a week. They've had 2 4-game sweeps. So they're very rested, and they haven't played in a week. The Spurs are coming off essentially the same schedule they're going to have, which is, 1 day off. And if they beat you and you're so well rested, I just think the way they've owned you, that'll be 5 times in 6 games that they have beaten them. I think that's huge. Now, and I've said before, we've seen plenty of regular seasons where a team owned one in the regular season. I covered some teams, and I thought they were going to win, and then they got stomped, all right? But there also have been those where it really does mean something. Dirk Nowitzki, the year he won the MVP, Golden State, the 8th seed, had pounded them all season. And it was like, oh, this is the playoffs, the Dallas.
That was a
is the
60-plus win Dallas.
Yeah, and then they got beaten in the first round. It meant something. So we're going to find out tonight, did it mean something in the regular season?
So I have an anticlimactic answer of who is this a must-win for, and my answer is absolutely neither team. Because I think I could, if I wanted to, do a flip side argument to everything Bruce said as to why the Spurs have to win. Because if the Thunder win, then it was, you beat us in the regular season, but these are the playoffs. That if the Thunder win, it's like, and this is with J-Dub, who's, I think, going to play sparingly tonight. We beat you when J-Dub was at his absolute worst. We beat you when we were rusty and, had this time off. Meanwhile, you're coming off, playing at as high of a level imaginable, really, not just Game 6, but you could argue Game 5 as well. Like, they annihilated the Timberwolves in both of those games, which is why I think we are in store for a classic series. I think we are in store for a long series, and I think both teams will win a game on the opponent's home court, or certainly can win a game on the opponent's home court, which is why I don't think it's a must-win for anybody. What I do think is most interesting is if Wemby takes a page out of, is it fair to call Akeem one of his mentors? He certainly worked with him.
Yeah, because he worked with him.
A page out of one of his mentors' book, Akeem Olajuwon, and saying, that guy has something that's mine, that MVP award. Because in 1995, by the way, don't throw up the stats yet, it's a little revisionist history. It was not a close MVP race. The Rockets were the 6th seed, and Akeem got one first-place vote. But Akeem was the defending. Akeem had a season in 94 that no one had done before and no one's done since. MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, Finals MVP, swept the board on everything. And then the next year was like, I should have gotten it anyway. I should have gotten it again. David Robinson got it. In the game they gave Robinson the MVP award in the Western Conference Finals, Akeem put up a tidy 41-16-4, 3-2, and some all-time grainy footage highlights, including this dream shake right here, which you've seen. You'll see it in a second. I want to let it run before we show the stats because it's such a great. That one there is all time. And what he did for the series, which we can show you in a second. Here's the one. Yeah, let this one play. Sorry, I thought we were going to play it earlier. Boop, boop. Up and under layup. For the series, he annihilated Robinson, who's an all-time great player the whole way through. And that was Brew, and this is something I think people forget a little bit. I had forgotten, to be honest, despite the fact San Antonio that year was 5-0. 5-0 against Houston. That was one of the reasons Robinson won the award. San Antonio had dominated the regular season matchup. So I wonder, because we have seen Wemby when he comes out with something to prove, he has a different level of offensive production. It seems like his defensive production kind of only changes based on the other team's approach, but his offensive production is very often predicated on what had happened the game before or what he thinks he's playing for. And so that's the thing I'm most interested in. Does Wemby look at it? He said he wanted the MVP. He said he thought he was the MVP. He ended up, not only did he not win it, he didn't come in second, and it wasn't close. Does he take that personally? So
are you expecting a huge game from Wemby? We've seen him dominate games but score in the teens, and then we've seen games where he feels like
I'm expecting him to come out like Nick was saying. I'm expecting him to come out with an attitude and put up big numbers offensively. If they blow, now I get you saying, I think the Spurs going to win. I got the Spurs in 6, all right? But I'm not going to come on here if they win tonight and be like, oh, it's, you know what I mean, just totally write off OKC. But if they blow them out tonight, what do you think about that? If the Spurs blow them out,
blow the
I
Thunder
I mean, they blew them out in several of the
I think
games
if
in the regular
either
season.
team blows out the other team tonight, like a true blowout, not a game you're up 7 throughout and win by 11, but a true where
I'm not even talking about
Wemby is
11.
congratulating them in the huddle with 8 minutes left. If either team blows out the other team, that will be stunning and meaningful to me.
What do we need? What do you need to see to get you at your most confident?
I mean, I'm very confident.
No, but like
I
to
just
have like a
out of respect for
performance
OKC.
tomorrow's show. Like I don't think the Thunder will mind if you're like, you know.
I think if Wemby drops
performances,
35
you never know
plus
when they
and the
there's a
Spurs
route.
win by 20 plus,
5
Drew's
blocks,
gonna
30.
be
Yeah.
peacocking.
Yeah, that's what we like.
You want me to come out here in a robe?
Spurs
and
robe, yeah, the whole night. Sandwich. You go into OKC.
stuff? The Ravens might get mad if I wear another team's
Hobbs,
robe.
look to see if we have his sandwich.
What's the great delicacy from Oklahoma City?
Oh, Oklahoma
Some
City?
like third-rate
Tommy,
barbecue?
I don't know. How dare you?
KD
this guy, he's
used to
always
have a
mad at the
nice
rest of the
restaurant
Midwest.
there.
KD had a restaurant?
Yeah,
Yeah,
they shut
soul
it down
food
after
place.
they turned on
It was good too.
Yeah.
Oh,
used to go there.
what was it called?
KD's soul food place.
That's good marketing. I would go there. All right, let's go back to Minnesota. Wolves lost by 30. Season's over. Ant congratulated everyone on the Spurs. Here's Ant when he was asked about getting over the hump. Take a listen.
To catch up
and to contend again.
I don't know, man. I think that I don't think that's a question for me.
You think the Wolves should try to run this back?
No, I don't think they will, and I don't think they can. First of all, we don't know if Dante will be back at all next year. Everyone's not going to return on the Tatum timeline.
Right.
No.
The important part of the Tatum time, we got to remember it was stunning how quickly he returned. Prior to 2 months ago, the idea of someone tearing their Achilles in the playoffs and playing the next season was unheard of. So I think they might be without that important piece. We don't know if Io's going to be retained or not. And they have run now into a problem other teams have run into, most notably the Knicks, which is Julius Randle come postseason time, more often than not, just kills you. And so I have a prediction. And as KW says, it always looks great.
Don't do it. Don't do it. It hasn't worked in literally 10 years. Don't do it.
I'm not even saying it's going to work. I just have a prediction. I believe the team that at the trade deadline before a year ago tried to trade for Kevin Durant this offseason is going to trade for Kevin Durant. And I think Kevin Durant for Julius Randle plus probably the 28th pick of the draft is going to be the trade. And I think Kevin Durant's going to be a Minnesota Timberwolf next year. That's what I think. And I think that's how they're going to try to solve some of their offensive issues that can exist when Rudy Gobert is such an important part of your team to have more instant offense scoring. And I think the Rockets, Julius Randle does strike me as a Ime Udoka type of player. Julius Randle has proven he can get his offense even playing alongside a non-shooting center, which they, because he got his offense playing alongside Gobert, so he can get it playing alongside Şengün. And Julius Randle's so much younger than KD that I think it makes sense for Houston. And I don't think there's going to be this robust market for Durant. We know that Ant has said that was his favorite player forever growing up. Yeah. I think Kevin Durant's going to be on the Timberwolves next year.
Look, I agree with you that they can't run it back. OKC and San Antonio are only going to get better.
Yes.
And Minnesota's not going to beat them as they currently are constructed. I don't like that deal that you brought up for Houston. And look, let's say that deal happens though, from a Minnesota standpoint. I don't think they beat OKC or San Antonio.
That's the problem.
But I do think they're better.
You still got to try. You got to try to get better and see what happens.
Like, I do like it for them. I mean, if I was Minnesota and I could do that, I'm definitely doing it. Because one thing is Durant's going to give you offense. Like, especially when he's a second option, when Ant is still getting most of the attention, Durant would be great. I think defensively, they lose a little something.
Randle's not a great defender.
So I would do it. My number one thing is Minnesota, and again, it'd be very tough to happen maybe they have to get a third or fourth team involved. They almost assuredly would have to. But I would try to get Giannis. That's
and
my
they
number
tried
one
at the
thing.
deadline.
Right.
They tried at the deadline.
Giannis gives them a chance. If he's healthy, he gives them a chance to beat OKC or San Antonio. Durant, I think they'd be better. I think they'd be really good. I guess he gives them, a better chance.
I don't think you can build your team with I think it just has to be how do we get better, as opposed to even if we get better, we're not going to be good enough because weird things happen.
Yeah,
we
absolutely.
don't know
injuries. All
right?
types of
Injuries. Ownership gets cheap. Guys win a championship and then want their own. There's so we don't. I agree that if you dropped Kevin Durant in, on Minnesota right now, they're not beating Oklahoma City right now in a playoff series that starts in 2 days. I agree with that.
Yeah.
But that's not Oklahoma City will be a different team next year. Minnesota will be a different team. Everything.
Right.
And so
OKC,
I don't think you can. If you're in the Western Conference, you can't be like, you know what our plan is? We're gonna wait out the Spurs and Thunder.
No, but if the whole idea was that the Wolves GM built a team to beat Denver,
which worked.
And they were able to beat Denver,
Yes.
but all of a sudden Denver's beatable.
Right.
So now you have two other teams that are standing in your way. Why don't you pivot from a team that can beat the Nuggets to a team that can beat
That's
the
what
Thunder?
that's what I'm saying. But
that's not going to work.
Well, no. I guess my point is the pivot. Can the Timberwolves create a team in the offseason that would be the straight-up favorite over the current iteration of the Spurs or the Thunder? No.
Giannis?
I agree. Yes, I would rather have Giannis than Durant. So, again, I don't know if they'd be the favorite, but it's better. I just think that might be – first of all, I think that actually getting that trade done, they tried at the deadline and they couldn't. It's very difficult. And second of all, I truly believe – Giannis is only going to accept a trade to the East Coast.
Okay.
And so I agree with Brew. I think that would be ideal. But let's say Giannis is traded to the Celtics or he's off the table. Would I rather have Durant or Kawhi? I'd rather have Durant.
Kawhi is just too much of an
and it's so much more plug and play. And so
doesn't work.
Well, it doesn't work for none of this
but
stuff.
Nick's
I'm not
right.
saying, but I'm saying it doesn't
happen.
work for
Injuries
the.
happen. You never know.
But if it doesn't, the whole idea of the Wolves is one cohesive unit. Durant has not proven to be.
But neither is Kawhi.
I wouldn't do that deal either.
Well, then, but what are they going to do?
Well, you can't just make moves to. Just
You got to try to get better.
Shuffling deck chairs.
You got to try to get better.
Transport your senses with Sol de Janeiro's limited edition perfume mist collection at Sephora. Spritz on lush notes of rainforest orchid and crisp sea breeze with Refresco Paraíso. Embrace a floral and fruity scent inspired by Rio's nude beach with Cheeky Bikini. Or capture sun-kissed bliss with Limonada Gelada, where zesty Brazilian lemonade accord meets coconut milk and golden brown sugar. Don't miss Sol de Janeiro's limited edition perfume mist collection only at Sephora.
All right, no huddle time. NFL season kicks off September 9th. Super Bowl rematch. Patriots in Seattle. Uh-oh. I've previously called this opening game the worst case scenario.
That's right.
And it only gets worse. Super Bowl losers, I prefer silver medalists, thank you, in a rematch the following season. Well, the Chiefs, we were there for that one. Chiefs lost. Chiefs lost, 49ers lost. The Eagles won. More of a Chiefs thing. Falcons lost, Panthers lost, Broncos lost, and the Patriots lost. Yikes, 30 seasons. Tough one. But there is one outlier there, so it's not impossible.
A lot of losses.
Greg, we'll start with you. Is there a chance this is actually a good draw for the Patriots?
Absolutely.
Thank you. Boom.
Of course. I don't care what those stats tell us in terms of wins and losses. It's not even about wins and losses in this game. You talk about a game that they got absolutely manhandled and bullied.
Embarrassed, pushed around.
Up front. And your offseason task was to shore up who you are and what you're going to be moving forward up front on that offensive line. They addressed it.
Boom.
And so now you go into a game where, okay, we believe that we've added weapons around our quarterback. We'll see what they possibly may continue to add here later.
They lost a top 5 receiver in Stephon Diggs.
Maybe.
You think he's back now?
Well, the news was, did you see the Kyle Williams story?
Yeah.
So good. Kyle Williams he probably wanted to be 8 when he was on the Patriots. So he's like, I'm changing my number from 18 to 8. And then guess what? He had a change of heart. He's keeping 18. So 8 is still available.
That's Stephon Diggs' number. People don't.
Everybody knows.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if everybody.
Everyone should know.
But, I mean, he got sacked 6 times in that Super Bowl
Yep.
loss.
It was ugly.
You obviously want to shore up who you are up front. You feel like you've done that. You want to go up against this type of a team, knowing who they are going to be defensively, to see where you are at early in the season rather than later in the season. Mind you, the Seattle Seahawks, coming off Super Bowl, we know what they were able to do, but they've lost pieces. They've lost Kenneth Walker.
Huge.
We don't know if Charbonnet is going to be ready or available. Obviously, Clint Kubiak, their offensive play caller. So things are different. This team has a chance to really set the stage of how we view them right out the gate. No more of that.
Love it.
Or just confirm.
Yeah.
Or
no
just
more
be like,
of that.
oh yeah, it was a mismatch in February. It's going to be a mismatch in September. And listen, I'm worried about the show, bro. Because as annoying as he was,
don't let me win
cocky
this game.
KW was good for the show.
Yeah.
In doses.
Oh, yeah.
And when I'm looking at this Patriots just schedule, forget the first week, until the bye.
It's a little rough to
I'm
start.
like,
Yeah, it is.
If we throw it up there at the Seahawks, at the 13-win Jags, at the ready to reclaim the division Buffalo Bills,
Fire their
at
coach
the
back.
Bears, home for the Lions, home for the Packers, at the Lions.
That's in Munich for the record.
Oh, okay, my apologies. Thank you. Says at, but you're right. That's Fox game. Fox triple header that day.
Yep.
We might be going to Munich for that.
I'm going to go.
We're getting our
I
passports updated.
didn't tell the bosses.
Yeah. And KW, there's a world where that's 3-7.
Oh.
And I have
What
not.
about the Bears?
I've done this show long enough to
3
know
and 7?
there's a world.
Much. That's a lot.
There's a world. I've
3
done
and
this.
7.
Yeah. They would never lose to the Steelers in week 2. Didn't they lose to the Steelers?
Yeah, we turned the ball over 5 times.
Yeah, and so
I will give you. I'm not.
You're
gonna
a Super Bowl hangover guy.
I am a Super Bowl hangover guy. I'm not going to go all the way out to the bye, but this is from John Breach. Dusty, you throw up the quote panel if you got it, because this gave me pause, but I have something
Your
I believe
underdogs
in.
3 of your first 4 games.
Their first 4 opponents have a combined strength of schedule of 721, which is the highest any team has faced in their first 4 weeks in 40 years.
So you go from the softest full season schedule this century to the hardest opening month in 40 years, and then you have to contend with something you believe in. Super Bowl hangover.
Super Bowl hangover. But you know what else I believe in?
What?
Momentum.
Well, you have none. You have negative momentum, buddy.
You sure?
I'm sure.
Because once A.J. Brown joins the team on June 1st, congratulations to A.J. Brown, got married this weekend, so shout out to A.J. Brown. Romeo Dobbs on the team, Elijah Vera Tucker takes care of more protection as well. We drafted a lineman. I also believe, look, the Super Bowl wasn't great. Wasn't great early, wasn't great in the middle, wasn't great in the third quarter.
Just wasn't great.
Well, I disagree with that, Greg, because unlike Anthony Edwards, maybe it's your Minnesota bias coming through. The game is played 4 quarters.
You need no, he's not. You teeing him up.
You made fun of the Chiefs.
You are teeing him up right now.
Year for
you don't believe in momentum or
throwing.
not? No, you're like, oh, there's no momentum. No. There's no. That's what you're.
While
you
the Gatorade was
no
being pulled.
momentum. There's no momentum. Let's just see. Let's just see how it went. Let's just see how it went once we settled into it. Wow. Once we settled down.
He had 2 turnovers in the quarter. He had 2 turnovers in the fourth
He was
quarter.
on pace to throw
for an
900
8-turnover
yards.
game.
He was on pace for 900 yards. He was on pace for 900 yards.
KW.
There's a little momentum there, and he's healthy.
KW, can we just show teams coming off Super Bowl loss? Dust, can
It's
we
not
throw
the
that
Super
up?
Bowl hangover. I get it.
All right, 13 missed playoffs outright. Only 11 won a playoff game. 1 won a Super Bowl. It's your Pats.
Oh, wow.
That's good. Here's the problem, though. What about the same time frame, just getting your teeth kicked in the Super Bowl? 14 teams. None made a Super Bowl. Only 4 won a playoff
10 or more getting their teeth kicked in?
Well, you lost by 16. So
I'll be honest with you. We really lost. I mean, 16 on the scoreboard, but it was really like, felt like 30.
Yeah. So you're on the record that this is worst case scenario.
Yeah, it's not great.
No, that this is not. This is the last matchup you wanted.
Yeah, I didn't want this one at all. But you know what? Hey, you got to dance with
You got to play the game. I'm with Greg. Let's find out where we're at.
If we win,
you know?
Oh my God! Don't let us win. Don't let us.
And
win.
if you lose, if you lose, now you wouldn't want to get blown out. But if you lose, you know where you're at. You know what you got to work for, and you got the whole season to build on.
AJ Brown's gonna come in and like, I didn't lose to this team.
Buddy.
Dobbs gonna be like, I didn't lose to this team. Elijah Vera Tucker's like, I didn't lose. I think he may have. I don't know if the Jets played them elsewhere. But there's a lot of guys that didn't lose. Drake May's like healthy. Drake May didn't lose.
Well, those guys also
healthy. Will Campbell with his knee. I'm back. Don't let us win.
Will Campbell's going to be adjusting to playing guard.
He's not playing guard. This is what's worse than your Steph Curry take. He's not playing guard. You said Steph Curry wasn't a top 10 point guard.
I was wondering, like, what's the Steph Curry take?
I used to always have it in my back pocket.
Yeah.
Shank you with it.
KW, you guys, you talked about how you guys upgraded your offensive line by drafting a tackle.
Yeah, he's going to move around.
Okay.
All right, what else are we doing? Sorry. Oh, good news. Chiefs in Buffalo, Thanksgiving night. Josh Allen, undefeated on Turkey Day, 3-0. Mahomes is 0-1, a loss to the Cowboys last year, 31-28, which was the most watched regular season game in NFL history, 58 million. Nick, who does this game mean more for, Josh or Patrick?
Listen, I want to give the Bills credit in this regard. The loss to the Bills last year is what started the season from hell. The Chiefs, going into that Bills game, the Chiefs were the favorites. It was the 9th game of the year. And the Chiefs had an early bye, I think. So it was week 10. Going into that game, or the bye might have been right after, doesn't matter. Going into that game, the Chiefs were the favorites to win the Super Bowl, and Mahomes was the favorite to win MVP. And then they lost that game, and the season truly went to hell from that moment forward. It went from 5-3 to 6-11, and Patrick got hurt. So that meant a lot to them last year, and because the Chiefs don't have in their back pocket this year, if they lose, but we beat you in the playoffs last year.
Yeah.
They didn't beat them last time they were in the playoffs together, but that was 2 years ago now. I think it does mean a lot to Kansas City. But I think it means more to Buffalo. Because for all the disaster of last season for Kansas City, it didn't end with the team in tears in the locker room. It didn't end with the coach getting fired. It didn't end with my franchise, maybe greatest player in the history of my franchise, turning the ball over 4 times when we thought we had a smooth path to the Super Bowl. And so I think every part of this season for Buffalo is about proving the things we've always been good at, we're still good at, and we're going to be better in the areas that we've come up short in the past. And one of the things they've been best at in this era is they win this game. Chiefs, Bills in the regular season, they win this game. And the Chiefs, the difference in a disaster season when you're coming off 3 straight Super Bowl appearances and a disaster end of a season when you think this is your best chance for your first Super Bowl appearance, just to me are emotionally so different that I think the game, while important for Kansas City, more important than most Chiefs-Bills regular season matchups, is more important for Buffalo.
Yeah, look, I'm with you on that. The Bills, I was listening to you guys talking about the Spurs and OKC. Like, the Bills lose this game, and it's like, man, you can't beat them in the regular season now either? Like, the Chiefs lose this game, and no one will think anything of, especially pending on where these both
assuming they both have good records.
Yes. Like, we won't be concerning ourselves about what will the Chiefs look like in the postseason. Can they beat the Bills if they get to the postseason? We wouldn't question that. But if the Bills are to lose this game on Thanksgiving, prime time, everyone's watching, and this is a game that they always win, a day where they always typically win, or they have recently in the past, and you fall to the Chiefs, who are retooling, if you will, coming off a bounce-back year where all the things that you listed derailed their season last year. We kind of spiraled this team put them into their spiral. if they lose to them in this game in the regular season, there will be a extreme lack of confidence for, I don't care, probably not the guys in that locker room in Buffalo, but the fans, the coaching staff will be trying to figure out how can we get over the hump with this team now in the regular season and or the postseason. You can't lose to this team in the regular season. You got to hold some type of
I initially was going to say the Chiefs because I think with the questions of Mahomes, how does he come back, the new defensive backfield, the receiving core, there's some questions there. I felt like it would be hard. It will be more of a challenge for the Chiefs to make the playoffs than the Bills. But then I looked at the Bills' schedule. If we can put their schedule up, their schedule is treacherous. I mean, outside of the Jets and the Dolphins.
That is 4 games, though. But, yeah.
They got pretty much – I mean, look at you start with Houston, Detroit, the Chargers, the Pats, the Rams. I mean, you got the Raiders. But then you got the Ravens, the Vikings. They have a tough schedule. So this could be a critical game for them. And we don't know. The big question is Joe Brady, what's that defense going to look like? So I'm actually thinking, I don't know what the Bills' record is going to be going into this game. So I agree with a lot of what you guys said, but I'm also just based on the schedule, I think it's going to mean more for the Bills.
All right, coming up next, picking our conference finals MVPs. Next on First Things First. Greg, Brew gave us some advice not to talk to you about the Pistons. Said you weren't in a joking mood.
This is a Bose moment. You've been there. Small talk's going nowhere, but then the Bose speaker kicks in. Music you can feel fills the room, and no more chat with Danny from accounts. Your life deserves music. Your music deserves Bose. Find your perfect product at Bose.com.
It's a second Indy 500 pole for the 4-time champion.
Alex Palou is the first defending Indy champ to win the pole in the following year since Hilo Castroneves did it in 2010. He wins the pole by driving, can you guess? 232.248. So he'll start at number 1. Stingray Rob, my guy, will start in last place, but that's okay. We will be in Indy on Thursday and Friday. Palou will be on the show. Newgarden's on the show. Your guy, Pato Award's on the show.
Palou's going to win again, guys. He's just the best driver by a lot.
That's incredible.
It feels like that.
He was the best driver by a lot before last year's Indy 500, and the only thing he hadn't done was win a race on an oval and win the Indy 500. Now he won the Indy 500 and wins races on ovals all the time. He's going to win again.
And has the pole. Yeah, it's more of a fortune thing. I don't want to say luck, but he's got to stay out of crashes.
Oh, he's got to avoid bad luck.
Yeah,
he's got to avoid bad luck.
I'm not saying he has to be lucky to win.
It's a
but
fair. If
he's
not fair, but
but he's the fastest driver.
He's the fastest driver, the best car, best crew. He's going to win.
It works. Okay, we'll be there on Thursday.
And then Monday, he'll be chugging milk with me on the show.
There we go.
Spurs Thunder tonight, Cavs in the Garden tomorrow. SGA won the Magic Johnson Trophy last year, Brew for Western Conference MVP. It's not always the star player. Pascal Siakam won the Larry Bird Trophy in the East. Who do you have for conference finals MVP? We're looking for interesting answers here.
And really? Because mine are pretty obvious. I got OKC in 6.
Okay.
Well, you have OKC in 6.
I mean, I'm sorry. I got.
Wow.
That is good.
Send that out, Miles.
You did.
Wow.
I've got San Antonio.
Make it interesting.
San Antonio in 6. I think Wemby comes out tonight, sets the tone with a huge, big game offensively and obviously defensively, and I think he's the MVP. And I think in the East, I'm going with the Knicks in 5.
Okay.
Knicks in 5. And I think Jalen Brunson. I think Cat will be huge with his facilitating and all that. OG, like you said, should be back. I think he'll play well. I think they'll play well. But Brunson's going to do what he does, which is average about 29 points a game in the series. And in the fourth quarter is probably going to be the leading scorer. So I got Brunson as the Eastern
Can
Conference.
I ask you a question before you go?
Whatever you want.
We all know that Brunson is the guy. Donovan's right up there with playoff scoring all time, too.
Well, he's ahead of Brunson. Yeah, I mean, Donovan's 8th all-time playoff scorer.
Do you think Donovan's like, you know what? Not on my watch.
Well, yeah, Donovan's not a good defensive
Right.
player.
he can't say that because he's
no.
that ain't him.
But again,
Palms up.
I know he's not the best defensive player in the world.
I mean, Brunson's not either.
He's also a little undersized. Like, if Brunson is a guy who's not.
So he just go out there and outscore him. He's gonna be facing better defenders than Brunson.
That's the problem. I just don't know who. So I'll start with the East because I don't think the audience.
I want to hear your Western pick, yeah.
In the East, I'm picking the Knicks, and I was leaning Cat MVP. However, because Cat is this, I know he's not really playing point, but him getting the ball in the high post and being a distributor, the last 7 playoff games, is averaging like 8 assists a game.
He hadn't scored as much.
Right, he's been, but he has maybe been the key to the Knicks' offense being unstoppable. With that said, if the Cavs have anything working for them defensively, it's their 2 bigs defensively, and their biggest weakness defensively is going to be point of attack, whomever Brunson wants to go after. Like, really, whomever. Right. Even their shooters off the bench aren't great defenders. Yep. Schroeder's not a great defender. And so I just don't, and to your point, the Knicks are going to say, Donovan Mitchell, you're not going to be able to attack Jalen Brunson because Jalen Brunson is not going to be the one guarding you as often as we can prevent it. Sure. So because of that, I agree with Brew. I think Brunson for Eastern Conference Finals MVP is the pick. And then Western Conference Finals MVP. Look at Brew.
I can't wait to hear this.
Which, now you guys know historically.
He wants OKC.
Historically, I definitely am not rooting for OKC.
Really?
I am not rooting for OKC.
You're rooting for the Spurs?
I am rooting for the Spurs.
Wow.
I don't have any problem with the. To be clear,
hold on, you're rooting for, or who's your pick?
I haven't gotten there yet.
I'm
rooting for the Spurs, though. I like the idea of Wemby doing it. I also really like Castle. And I do think that while Wemby has caught a bit of the flopping bug of late, nobody is down with it as bad as OKC, and I just don't like that. And their fans are so mean to me. So I will be rooting. I'll be rooting for the Spurs. And you guys know I historically don't think you even have to be on the winning team to win an MVP of a series.
No, of course not.
However, I don't think the NBA is going to break precedent, and I think the winner probably is going to be from the winning team. And I think OKC is going to win.
Wow. Okay.
I'm not happy about it.
It's more like title pie. Title pie
is a good indicator.
That's true.
It really is.
I should have known.
I thought that Joker would have presented a unique problem for Oklahoma City, and that's why I've had Denver going to the finals. They instead couldn't get out of round 1. And then I wanted to be unique on who I was picking to win Conference Finals MVP, because I thought you could make an argument that if there was a round 2 MVP, it was Chet.
I think it would have.
It would have been Chet.
It won't be this time.
No.
It's going to get ugly.
That's the problem. And
they're going to need Chet to play well.
But I just don't think he's going to have the numbers.
No.
So I have the chalkiest, most boring picks imaginable.
Yes.
Jalen Brunson and the Knicks to win, and SGA and the Thunder to win. And we get a Knicks-Thunder finals where all of America, barring Oklahoma City, will be rooting for the New York Knicks.
I'm actually glad Nick picked.
I know, of course you are.
Thunder, though.
Yeah, I mean, I've been an absolute jinx.
No, you were due. Live from New York, it's First Things First Overtime. Today, are we sleeping on the Cavs? Parkin's been calling it all year.
Yeah, I have.
Meanwhile, what's next for the Detroit Pistons?
Or for Ant and the Timberwolves.
Or for Ant.
How about both?
Timberwolves.
Yeah.
You know what? We're just going to look at a few teams and figure out what's next for them. And finally, can the Steelers make a run now that Aaron Rodgers is back? Alongside Chris Broussard, I'm Kevin Wilds, Nick Wright, Danny Parkins. How are you feeling after your predictions were proven correct?
I'm feeling correct. And like Brew owes me dinner.
Wow.
Yeah, forgotten about.
I have totally forgotten
On
about
the record, Cavs, Pistons, Brew now 0-2 lifetime in Denver. And I tried to make it just, hey, me and Brew go to dinner. He's like, let's bring the whole show, just like you did last time.
Did
for
I do,
Shador.
Is there tape of that?
Oh,
Yes.
I mean, I'm not.
I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
I did
Because
forget
Danny
about
owes me a seafood tower. When you
all
buy
do.
everything, I'll take the seafood
Wilds
tower.
is
out.
just always trying to minimize time he has to spend with us.
Correct.
I'm saying Brew doesn't need to pay for the seafood tower.
I
Danny
understand,
has
but
to
that
pay for
also
separate
makes it
meals.
to where it's only
You
one
don't-
meal
yeah,
instead
one
of
meal.
two.
Fine, we don't need all these meals.
Yeah, I told you.
Goodness gracious.
That's cool. It'll be our quarterly meal.
That Brew pays for.
That I pay for.
We're starting with Danny's
Wow.
Cavs. Took
Y'all
down
treat the elder no
seeded
respect.
Pistons, convincing fashion. Harden didn't make a three, but was also plus 31 in the game. Here's Donovan on reaching his first conference finals, Parkins.
A breath of fresh air, but like you said, we didn't just come here just to. That wasn't the goal when we started the season. Even last year, like when we lost Indiana, we had our goals set on getting to the finals, and we're just one step closer. I personally, and as a team, we can breathe a little bit, but in the same token, we can only breathe for about 12 hours and then get right back to it. So it's a balance. It's a blessing. God is good. I wouldn't be here without my teammates, but we got work to do coming up for sure.
Danny, do you feel vindicated?
The work isn't done.
You're right. Yeah, you're right.
I picked the Cavs, and Nick knows I bet on the Cavs
fair.
to win the East. I mean, what's surprising about what's happened thus far? Yeah, it went to 7. It wasn't supposed to, but it went to 7 both times, and they won.
Yeah.
But have they won the East yet?
No.
Okay. They're going to win.
You're
So no.
picking them. You're
Why-
still picking them to win the East.
Of
They're going
course.
down in 5.
No.
And I'm from Cleveland. They're going down in 5 to
But
the
then you
Knicks.
get to say, "Oh, I'm happy if I'm wrong."
He
because
is,
No, I'm
he is
not
gonna
even-
get to do that.
Yeah, which is-
I mean, that's the bylaws are the
He even
bylaws,
has
but
the
I'm
button.
just saying.
It's an outrage.
Yeah.
But it's all, other than the length of the series, everything that has happened with Cleveland is exactly what I told you guys was going to happen.
Oh, stop.
Other than the length.
Stop it.
Why?
Because
Why?
you were out
The
here.
Big Four.
You
Nick
were
Butt.
barely.
The Big
You were this
Four.
far from dumping the Cavs.
And
I wasn't.
And
No, I
He
wasn't.
wasn't. He wasn't. I don't think he was
I'm
going to
not
dump the
even-
Cavs, even though he was terrified of the Celtics when Tatum came back. He kept reminding us he made his
Right.
pick.
I did make
Before
my pick
before
that.
Tatum
That's
came
fine.
back.
Did I pick-
But
did I
you
pick
can't. But it did not. Game 6 did not go according to plan, and
Game 5 did.
and the concerns about Harden rearing their head, even in a 30-point win in Game 7, didn't go according to plan. They are in the conference finals. None of the rest of us had them in the conference finals. Right. You deserve credit for that, but you can't say this is. You saw 7 against the Raptors and then 7 against the Pistons.
I said it was a few extra games to get to the place that I said we were going to get to, which was the Cavs in the Eastern Conference Finals. And I said, when you guys were making it all narrative-based about James Harden. James Harden.
Yeah.
James Harden was just one of 4, Brew. The Big Four.
Fortunately, he was.
Okay, but let's take a
'Cause
look.
he was
The
the
Cavs
typical
are a team
Harden.
of depth. They got a lot of talent. These are their leading scorers in their
Put
wins.
Sam Merrill and Max Strus on your Big Four
Yeah,
now?
because you never know on a given night who's going to come through for the Cavs. Common theme, though, James Harden in 3 of the 4 wins is going to be in the top 2. Donovan Mitchell's going to be their leading scorer in 3 of 4. And as I told you, because they were load managing Donovan a bit, because Jared Allen had the knee issue, they're getting better as they go. Let's look at the Big Four in games all 4 of them played. Regular season, that's what they averaged. Toronto, that's what they averaged. Detroit, that's what they averaged. Toronto and Detroit, Brew, good defensive teams. They are getting better the more they play together. They're getting stronger right before your eyes. Evan Mobley, gelling. I told you about Game 5 Harden. Game 7 Jared Allen, it's a thing. James Harden feeding the bigs. The Knicks are in trouble.
So that's the question I have.
You guys are
Danny?
crazy. They are the more talented
I'm happy
team.
for you.
Why are they?
I'm happy. I'm so happy for you. I'm going to let you push the button.
I get to
Are you
push the
familiar with the button?
I watched the show. I'm familiar with the button. I don't know what's going to
I'm
happen,
happy
but it
for
doesn't matter. Cavs in 6.
Wow.
No, he has this.
It really does. I don't
Yeah.
believe in the
It
Cavs
works
for
the
this
way-
series, but I'm happy for Donovan.
Yeah.
Let's see if it works for me.
Wow.
All right.
I'm not. I don't.
Oh, come
Wow,
on.
it's working for everybody.
pressure.
Go
This
ahead.
is a sports version of. Do you read the Polar Express to your kids?
Yeah, of course.
At the very end, it's like, and you know what? He couldn't hear the bell.
It's all about if you believe.
So I like Donovan. Do I think the Cavs are? I mean, I.
No, you didn't push it. You
No,
saw how
I was
Nick-
yelled at upstairs.
You
Like,
gotta
don't break
slam
Well,
it.
don't break it, but hit it good.
You got to slam it.
It's a button.
Don't like this bad at all.
Maybe you did break
maybe
it.
it's this
I
side.
get it.
You
Maybe
broke
did
it. I
break
think
it.
you
I
broke
don't
it. It probably won't work for me.
Dusty. The Bears.
But I am shocked that you are so confident. Look, you deserve to gloat. You got the right to gloat right now. But you think that, like, what makes you think they're going to beat the Knicks? Because both teams are very talented.
Why are they the more talented?
I mean, I guess you can argue. I mean, I think they're close because the Cavs do have a lot of talent. They do have depth. To me, the difference is going to be their defense is not that strong, which was fine against Detroit because you had one offensive threat to worry about. The Knicks, you're going to have 4, sometimes 5 guys you have to worry. You won't be able to double the number one guy, a la Cade Cunningham, against the Knicks and not get punished for it. So that's where I think the difference is going to be.
I mean, listen, I think that goes both ways.
The Knicks are a very good defensive team.
I understand, but I think that the Cavs are by far the toughest team that the Knicks have played thus far in the play. Like, which team went through a tougher path to get to where they are?
I think it's a push.
You do?
Yeah, I think Atlanta is a much tougher team than Toronto. And I think that Detroit's a tougher team than Philly, but we are – and when that series started, we thought Philly all of a sudden was like together and
I'd say
a real
Philly.
threat. And so I mean, I think that part's a push. But Donovan is better than – I'm sorry, Jalen Brunson, it's close, but I feel is better than Donovan. But you call that a wash.
Very close.
Cat's more talented than anyone else on the Cavs.
He's more talented, but I do think that Cleveland's bigs will match up well with him. Mobley is a defensive player of the year, and Allen is a great rim protector. Like, in terms of the bigs that he will have to face defensively, this is his toughest matchup of the playoffs by a long shot.
No question. And which then is where it gets a little more precarious for you, because now we get to OG Anunoby off the hamstring, who is playing the best ball of his life. Mikal Bridges, who's after a very rough start to the playoffs, first few games, started playing really well. And now we're to the James Harden of it all. And I also think Josh Hart's better than Max Strus or whomever we want to call their 5th best player, if it's one of their bench guys, Schroeder or Sam Merrill. I don't think the Cavs are more talented than the Knicks. I think the Knicks are as talented as any team in the Eastern Conference, and arguably the most talented.
Yeah.
I think the talent is very close. And
It's
again,
close.
I think the Cavs are getting better. I do think the Cavs went through the tougher path. I think it's a pretty good matchup with the Cavs' defensive bigs against Towns. I agree that Donovan and Brunson are a wash.
But it's got to.
I'm shocked that the Cavs
better too.
The Cavs are a 2-1 underdog in this
because
series.
the Cavs just went to back-to-back 7-game series, and you can your point that the paths were close or the talent's close. What's not close is how they have performed this postseason. The Knicks, they've been better. They've been historically great. You showed us the graphics.
Yeah.
The best margin of victory after 10 playoff games of any team ever. Meanwhile, the Cavs are trying to do something only the 08 Celtics did, which is to have back-to-back 7-game series in rounds 1 and 2 and then make the finals. Like, usually when you have those arduous first 2 rounds, you run out of gas in the conference finals.
All right, moving on to the Thunder. SGA wins MVP again. Bought his team some gifts. Bought some nice Burberry coats and some golf bags. It was lovely.
AP watches, too. Not the Swatch. Yeah. He bought them all APs.
he got them
not the Swatch ones either.
Yeah, you got him.
I mean, buddy, he makes $50 million a year.
Yeah.
You're like stunned by it.
It's just an expensive
He got him
watch.
a ton of stuff, but that's
he
great.
probably spent $500,000 on it. That's 1% of his annual pay.
Here's SGA.
Thank you guys so much for essentially putting the ball in my hands, the keys in my hands, and letting me drive this ship, just drive this car. So many NBA players don't get that opportunity, and I was given that opportunity, and who knows where I'd be without it. 2 feels pretty sweet, but yeah, we got a lot more work to do.
What does this mean for his legacy?
I remember bringing it up with you guys over a month ago that what I thought was the inevitability of SGA being the MVP and this Thunder team winning a title is going to just make him leapfrog a bunch of all-time names at a crazy young age and put himself into conversations that doesn't like feel right for a 27-year-old. But I felt vindicated earlier listening to Brew be like, there's a real case that he's already the third best guard in NBA history.
Well,
no, he said third best shooting guard or third best point guard.
Yeah.
Did I not say guard?
Well, no, but he had them separated.
Oh,
because Jordan,
Magic,
Steph, Kobe, he's not jumping over.
So
them.
fifth best overall guard.
More MVPs than Kobe.
Kobe's got 5 times the rings.
I agree with you. Yeah. But just in terms of the conversations that he is now going to force us to have, I just wanted to update 2 graphics from before that put him in this historical conversation in terms of back-to-back MVP and finals MVP, if he gets it. Mm-hmm. This is still projecting it. It's Jordan, LeBron, and would-be Shea. And again, obviously I am not saying that he is, will be, or ever could be Michael Jordan, but this one is kind of staggering. 7th and 8th seasons in the league, just judged by time in the league. Obviously, Jordan spent longer in college, so the ages don't completely match up. A lot of the numbers are actually tilted in terms of total wins, a little bit more on the points, a little bit more on the assists. In Shea's column, I think this is chapter 2 of a long book of Shea winning multiple more MVPs and championships. It's just going to be very interesting to see.
So you think multiple more MVPs?
Yeah.
So you think he will?
He's the first guard ever to have a 30-point season on 55% shooting.
Right.
He's in 4 straight seasons averaging over 30 a game.
Yep.
Jordan has 7 for the record for guards. Why would it stop?
Well, Wemby could be a reason he stops winning MVPs. That would be first of all.
And championship.
But I mean, that's going to be, and we'll talk about the series coming up in a little bit, but just in terms of, he's going to be in that conversation, and I think winning a couple of them, just you pair that type of statistical production with 60-win seasons, he's going to be on a lot of your MVP ballots.
So where do you put him?
Yeah, throw up my best guards ever, and then just might make it easier. So throw up just the picture of the 9 best guards ever, because I've got Danny. And what I said is, for me, this is as of this moment. This is without winning the title.
Without winning the title.
This is this moment.
But so help me out though. If he wins the title, does he jump 8, 7, and 6?
He definitively, if he wins the title, jumps 8. And then I will have a discussion about 5, 6, 7, and also some people obviously have different order of West, Isaiah, Oscar. But so to me, that's where he is right now. I'm curious for you, where is he this moment? And where would you have him if they win the title?
So if he wins the title, I think the only 4 that you can put above him are Jordan, Magic, Kobe, and Steph. If he wins the title, that would be how I would, especially, and some of it is still going to be projection, but I feel like I'm allowed to project somewhat in that because he isn't retiring, he's in his prime, and we know the team is going to be awesome forever. He's not retiring. Right?
No, he's not retiring, but I get the projection stuff. If we were doing the same show 5 years ago, what we would have been saying about Giannis at 27 as a champion, as a defending champion, as a 2-time MVP, when it looked like that team had they didn't have as many resources, obviously, as OKC, but they looked loaded for bear for years to come. So that part I get a little anxious about, that they'll just keep winning forever. But that's why I'm asking.
So I would have him currently today without the title. Your top 6 are still in front of him, but I would have him in front of Wade and Oscar, where I would have it today.
Yeah, I mean, look, the projection is tough because if he does win this championship, you could certainly, like I said, you can argue he is number 5. No question about it. But then 5 years from now, if he's still stuck at 2-2, which is possible, then do you still feel, now maybe you do, depending on how he plays and stuff, but that's where projections get tough. But I said earlier, Danny, one of the challenges for him, and why a lot of people are probably looking at those graphics and saying he doesn't belong there, is because his game is all substance and no style. And I get some people will say, oh, but it's substance drawing these fouls. But I mean, all the guys on that list, if you look at the 4 that are definitively ahead of him, they got style. Their games are flashy. Isaiah Thomas, that was a huge part of his success and his game. And that stuff matters. How you make people feel. Do you make them go ooh and ah? And because SGA is obviously more exciting than Tim Duncan, but it's a lot of that. And Duncan has 5. If Duncan only had 2 championships, I know he's only got 1 MVP, but, it's just, I think SGA
Duncan's
is almost like 2
MVPs.
MVP. I'm sorry. SGA is kind of like the perimeter version of Tim Duncan.
And I just to add to that before we move on, because I think some people might be watching and saying, style, who cares?
But everybody cares about
here's
style.
I'm agreeing with you. I'm just trying to add, it's not just style, it's also moments that stick out in your mind. And that is that even for Duncan, there are, oddly, the one that maybe sticks out in most people's mind is the insane shot right before Derek Fisher's shot.
Yeah.
Being the finals game where he was 2 blocks away from a quadruple double in the finals. Or there are certain things, but certainly with those other guys, and this was Jason Timp's point, and I think it's a great one, it's just close your eyes and picture something, you picture it. Shea, I think what would help Shea more in historical rankings than another 30-point per game season is one iconic game over the next month. One iconic game that sticks out in your mind of the Shea game, which all of those other guys had, either games or moments. And even, I don't think, I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but I think it's hard to pull one specific, man.
Listen, I think last round when he goes 15 of 18 from the floor, and you're like, that is a crazy amount of efficiency for a guard. Those are the types of things that you talk about with his greatness. But I think it's because the Thunder are so awesome.
I don't think anybody talked about that, though.
Yeah. That's the and
no one's like
that's nuts.
Who did he hit the game winner?
2 kids are not being like
about a month or 2 ago.
Efficiency.
Oh yeah.
Didn't he hit a game
winner over
the Nuggets?
The Nuggets in the regular season game winner to kind of lock up MVP. But that's right. It's that 15 of 18 game. There are people watching this show that don't remember it, and it was a month ago.
No, so your kids aren't gonna be like, oh, I love SGA. Dad, can you give me an SGA jersey? You're like, yes, son. What's your favorite part about him? He's like, the efficiency.
Sure.
It just doesn't. I think there's an element of a Heisman, basketball version of a Heisman Trophy moment. Tonight's game, Thunder favored. Still haven't lost in these playoffs. Danny, you've gone full Thanos with OKC. Inevitable. Are you guaranteeing a series win?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Now I get it.
Whoa.
Yeah.
First pause.
Here's the reason. I have no reason to back off of it. I do believe the Thunder are better, but I respect the Spurs. And maybe that's the bad TV take or whatever. I'm picking the Thunder to win. They were my pick before the season, before the playoffs, and before the series. I think the Thunder will win. But I am a basketball fan. I respect what the Spurs have accomplished, how dominant they've looked at times, and how ahead of schedule they are. This is an all-time series that we're about to see, at least in terms of the hype. We put this together in terms of teams meeting in the playoffs, coming off of 62-win-plus regular seasons. It's a lot of NBA Finals matchups and a lot of teams we know and can remember and stick. The Lakers, Bucks in 72, famous. 85 Finals, Lakers, Celtics. Obviously, all of the second three-peat for Jordan. And so it feels to me like what we are watching tonight is episode 1 of the Rocky franchise.
That's very true.
We are going to see Thunder Spurs in the Western Conference playoffs, depending on rounds based on how the bracket breaks in that given regular season, for the next 5 years, and so we put this together.
So you think
too.
it's going to be like Lakers Spurs?
That's what it's going to be. Kobe, Shaq,
exactly.
Lakers against
modern era teams to meet consecutive years in the finals. Again, just thought this was
or just in the playoffs.
Just in the playoffs, yeah.
Lakers Spurs is what I'm thinking of.
Exactly, Lakers Spurs on that side, and Knicks Heat, Bulls Knicks. It happened at other times, and then if you go back to the old times, it's 50s and 60s, and it's the Baltimore Bullets and the Syracuse Nationals and teams like that. That's what I think we're about to see. So yes, I'm picking the more experienced champions to get it done the first time they meet. But I think this is chapter 1, and when we're doing this show in 5 years, we're talking about the 4th or 5th matchup between these teams.
Do you, I think in the vein of the must-win way we do it, I feel like this is a must-win for the Thunder tonight. Because the Spurs dominated them so badly in the regular season, beating them by an average of 12 points a game. If they come out when the Thunder are rested, the Thunder, it's a big night with SGA getting MVP award, and it's in Oklahoma City. And if the Spurs come out and punch them in the mouth, now maybe they only win if they win close game, that could be different. But if they beat them fairly comfortably, I think that spells doom for the Thunder.
See, I don't think it's doom, but I absolutely agree with you. It's a bigger game for the Thunder than it is the Spurs. I can't really add much to it. Like, the Thunder tonight, they're going to try to come out and say winning 4 of 5 in the regular season meant nothing. And they're rested, and they're at home, and they're the favorite, and they have the MVP. And they're going to take care of business because they can get their game to another level. Jalen Williams is back and healthy and all of it.
I actually think that part could work against the Thunder tonight. I think that the first game, it depends on how they want to deploy him. But the first game back after, this much time off.
A.J. Mitchell's
right, and A.J. Mitchell's been rolling. I do have to say, I'm a little disappointed.
Yeah, weak.
Weak?
Well, hold on. Let me tell you why.
Weak?
Let me tell you why.
They're going to
win. Hold on. You're trying to couch it as, like, this erudite. Like, maybe it's not the best for TV, but here's what I see the league. How many times have we had to hear, and I quote, the Thunder are inevitable? Yeah. You know what inevitable means? It means you can guarantee it. It means you can 10 toes down, bass in your voice. Yeah. Obviously, they're winning the series. I've been telling you Luddites all year that they're inevitable.
But you know what?
I respect the Spurs. Wemby 7-7.
Hold on, you know what else is inevitable? You know what else is inevitable?
What?
You getting predictions wrong.
I'm going to get them all wrong.
And you picked the Thunder.
And
gave me a little pause.
You know what?
I wanted
that attitude
I felt great about him
picking the Thunder.
Exactly right.
Gave me a little pause.
Of course I guarantee it. But the fact that this jinx picked them makes me nervous.
Did you not see my Michael Jordan graphic?
Yeah.
Tactical error. Welcome back to the OT. We got Greg Jennings hanging out. Let's go to Pittsburgh, where your old pal Aaron Rodgers has officially signed, it's a huge surprise, a 1-year deal going back to the Steelers worth up to $25 million. Rodgers also reported to OTAs today, got some reps in with the team. All right, so it's not going to be Will Howard, Greg. What's the ceiling for Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers?
So this team can make the playoffs again.
Shocker.
I mean, exactly. This is when you're waiting for a guy like Aaron Rodgers to possibly make his decision, and obviously he did, and he signed a 1-year deal with the team. You are basically saying we're on a rent a quarterback basis. We understand what you provided for us last year. We added some pieces to our offense at the receiver position, on the offensive line, and other areas defensively. I think we can do a little bit more. And it may be optimistic from our seat, our vantage point.
Yeah.
But in Pittsburgh, with Mike McCarthy and the relationship that he and Aaron Rodgers already has, and which one of the things I think is overlooked is the relationship that he's established with everyone else within the organization. Because clearly everyone loves him. Everyone spoke glowingly about him. So the rapport is there. They just feel really strongly about what he provided them last year. And I think for us, it's like, well, yes, the floor is higher, but the ceiling is lower.
The ceiling is a ranch house.
Yeah.
With no upstairs, right? And so that's the part that, if I can remove my frustration with the team building aspect of it and the narcissism that goes into like the secrecy and how long it takes and the whole thing. And the reporting is that the Steelers were in contact with it. So he owes the Steelers that. He doesn't owe us it. That's fine. I am happy to watch Aaron Rodgers play football because the league is more interesting with Aaron Rodgers in it than without it, right? So if like Will Howard was the quarterback of the Steelers, we are talking about them less.
Correct.
Right? So I am, from our standpoint, I'm interested in it. But I think what frustrates me, the logical side of me, is like, it's time for the Steelers to hit the rebuild button. Like Brew had that button for the Cavs. Like Jalen Ramsey's 32. TJ Watt's 32. They still have value. But not if you can't win the Super Bowl. Those are pieces that I think a lot of organizations would trade for draft picks to jumpstart a rebuild. They re-signed Cameron Hayward. He's 37 years old. Great player. But that's not the type of thing that's the type of thing you do if you think you're going to win the Super Bowl.
Correct.
Not you've been in the playoffs 5 of the last 6 years and you've come out with 0 wins. So they just have this old, expensive roster with an old quarterback with a ceiling of maybe a wild card round win. And that just, I don't really get it when the whole point in Pittsburgh is put another trophy in the trophy case.
So you just said they re-signed Cam Hayward. That signing indicates this is a team that's trying to win the Super Bowl. That's exactly what they believe.
Right, but
they
how do they believe
Danny,
it? They don't, right? They don't actually believe it.
They believe it.
Yeah,
they believe and I can understand why they would believe this because of what he was able to provide them based on what they had currently or recently. Like their quarterback carousel that they've been on hasn't been able to show forth anything where you get Aaron Rodgers and it's like, man, okay, he's clutch. Now there's some things that we know that he doesn't do that he used to do. He doesn't throw across the middle hardly ever anymore. He's very decisive, almost too decisive, getting the ball out of his hands. But you live with that because you believe that if we are in it, which they typically play good defense, we'll give them that. If we play good, sound defense, and we have a chance with the ball in our hands, they don't believe that there's a quarterback that was available clearly that they could have acquired that would pose the threat and provide them the opportunity to make that last second push.
Listen, maybe I would say Kyler Murray. Other people would say Malik Willis, who we both also like. Or you could be bad.
And they are just not going to sign up and subscribe to that.
But it is an option. Choose to be bad.
I mean, it's still an option this year. We
rebuild and then go forward. All right, let's go to Chicago. We should all go to Chicago. The Bears, along with the rest of the league, released their full 2026 schedule. Bears have the toughest schedule in the NFL based on opponents' combined win percentage last year. And people around here, Greg, are expecting me to be worried. You look at me.
Yeah, don't back down.
Do I look worried?
You don't look worried.
I'm not worried. Listen, on paper, it's a tough schedule. Few things that jump out to me. The league is very invested in the Bears being interesting. Like, the Bears are going to be a main character in our NFL. They play on Thanksgiving and Christmas.
They do.
Right? like national TV games all over the place.
They have 5 primetime games.
Yeah, right. But I was looking at this. All right. How about this one? 3rd fewest miles traveled of any team in the NFL. That's right. Not a lot of time in the air.
Finding anything.
How about this? 2nd best rest advantage, meaning a game where you have extra time compared to your opponent. I know you know what it is. I'm explaining it to the audience. Yeah. 2nd best rest advantage for any team in the NFL since 2002. Oh, break up the Bears. 6 games on short rest, but they never face a team coming off a bye. The only games they have against opponents, Greg, who have a rest advantage over the Bears are the Bucs and the Jets, who the Bears are better than both of them, and their rest advantage is only 1 day. They have extra rest a week and a half before the Seahawks game, toughest game on their schedule because the Patriots game is on Thursday night. They have extra rest before the Packers game on Christmas in Week 16, extra rest before the Lions game in Week 17. I don't know. I look at that schedule. I see like 13 wins.
I don't know about 13 wins, right? I mean,
what's the problem?
Look, they won 11 games last year. Obviously, first place record, and a lot of people talk about the first place record. It is what it is when you're playing the NFC East, you're playing the NFC South. And I believe it's the AFC East as well. So I look at this. No, not the NFC East. You have the Cowboys. You play the AFC East and the NFC South. And you're in one of the hardest, if not the toughest division in all of football. I get what you're saying. Like, I'm not out on the Bears. Like, I would love to be on this side of the table across from you and sit here and honestly say,
you would love nothing more.
The Bears are done. I don't believe that, because what they showed last year is this is a resilient team with a very capable and resilient quarterback that believes that he can get them out of any bind that they see themselves in. I think they will be better offensively. You spoke glowingly about this, them being a top 5 offense and beyond. I think they will improve. Defensively is where I'm looking at this team, because when you look at their roster and some of the notable acquisitions and draft picks that they acquired, like, and why they did it, obviously you lose an important safety. You grab a safety in Kobe Bryant. You draft a safety in your young rookie in the first round. Like Garrett Bradbury, we all know why they had to acquire him, because of the retirement of Drew. They filled some voids and they got better. Didn't get better in the prime position that everybody was focused on, but they did improve their roster. Sitting with a guy who goes like this because he has the right to right now, because of how he finished the season and the things that he was able to accomplish in the fashion in which he was able to display it last season. This team is going to be one of those teams that every team that's playing them is circling as well. So they've proven to have this type of a schedule, but I'm not worried about them. I don't believe that they will have a better record than last year. That doesn't mean that they can't win that division and or make some noise in the postseason.
They're, as tough as the schedule is, Bears are favored in 12 of their 17 games this year.
Are they really?
Yeah, they're going to be a very good team. Coming up, talk a little hoops. Man, teams with big aspirations got eliminated over the weekend. Yeah. What's next for Greg's Pistons? Uh-oh. Welcome back to First Things First. I'm joined now by senior NBA writer for The Athletic, Sam Amick. And let's talk some Pistons who were officially eliminated last night in a historic blowout loss at home in a Game 7, 125-94. Cade Cunningham gave a very blunt answer on the Pistons' loss. Take a listen.
That game sucked. Being back home, definitely wanted to get this win in front of the fans. Reminded me of last year, losing on the home court. It's not a great feeling. It was a great opportunity this season, to move forward and to continue to, experience new things that we hadn't been exposed to. Fell short. We were right there, but we fell short. So, I think that chip and that sting is going to sit for a while.
Sam, thank you so much for joining us. Tough way to end it, but still a very successful season for the Pistons. But what's next for Detroit?
Yeah, brutal, Danny. It's funny, even watching Cade, makes you think back to how far down in that ditch they were just a couple of years ago. But that's the crazy part about sports, right, is that the recency aspect of it, those guys are hurting right now. That was a brutal finish to an otherwise amazing season. If you look big picture, the arc is still in a wonderful place. The problem in today's NBA is that the windows are getting tighter with every passing year. The way that the cap and the CBA is structured, it's very hard to have a long runway. So to your question, tough decisions this year. Jalen Duren, not extension eligible, but up for restricted free agency. They looked at a guy going into the playoffs who might have been a near max player, and he proceeds to have one of the worst playoff performances of an all-NBA type player that we've maybe ever seen. So what does that number look like? Tobias Harris, and this speaks to how they didn't have the depth. He was one of their best guys on the offensive side of the ball all throughout the playoffs. He's going to be a free agent. Duncan Robinson's money is not guaranteed for next year. Dennis Jenkins has a team option. They can't really jump into free agency in terms of getting big-time money. They would have to renounce almost every guy on their team. So they're not going to be chasing an Austin Reeves or a LeBron James. I do think the question is, do they chase one of these stars who might be available, whether it's Giannis or somebody else? They certainly need help.
They need help. I think the thing they have going for them is they've got Cade Cunningham, who's a legit superstar. They're in the Eastern Conference. But stop me if you think I'm wrong. I feel like they are going to give Duren near a max contract. I think that they will. Like, he was a young player who was dominant in the regular season, and teams don't tend to abandon homegrown young stars coming off All-Star and All-NBA seasons because they had a bad playoff run in their early 20s. Like, I am fully expecting a $200 million contract between the Detroit Pistons and Jalen Duren. I know that's being debated, but I will be very surprised if he plays for someone else next year.
No, I agree. I think they get something done. I just think that you have to be prudent with it, meaning you have got to test the market or at least have a good sense of the market and know what else is out there for him and make sure you don't blow an extra $50 million just because he's your guy. Now, if he gets an All-NBA selection, which I do expect him to get, if I'm not mistaken, that number is $280 million plus. And that is where the negotiating should and will likely happen, is in between the two numbers that you and I threw out. I agree. It's not going to be sorry, young fella, you just had a tough 5-week run, and now we're going to kick you to the curb. I just think the number certainly has to have changed because of how he performed.
Yeah, it's going to be a big number, and then all of Detroit will be holding their breath that the regular season was the real Jalen Duren. But let's move on now to Minnesota, the other team that got eliminated over the weekend. The Wolves looked completely outmatched against the Spurs. Obviously, they had tons of injuries in Minnesota. Anthony Edwards went over to the bench early to congratulate them. And here was Ant going back and forth with the reporter about the future in Minnesota. Take a listen.
How much work do you guys have to do going forward here to catch up in the Western Conference and
to catch up
and to contend again?
I don't know, man. I think that I don't think that's a question for me.
So he's probably right, and they have a very aggressive GM in Minnesota. You mentioned Giannis. They'll probably try to get him again. But, Sam, where do you think Minnesota turns from here, given that, yes, Wemby and the Spurs and the Thunder are very much out there?
Yeah, I mean, shout out to my buddy and colleague, John Krasinski, who asked Ant that question and got a little kernel of truth, where to me, when he says that's not up to me, we know who he's talking about. Tim Connelly is one of the most aggressive executives in the league. I'll start with the good news. For now, the signs are that Tim himself will likely remain in Minnesota through next season. That had been in question when Dallas showed some interest in him. I don't anticipate him going to Philly in their front office with that opening. So if you're a Timberwolves fan, it's like, okay, you have a guy who has been chasing stars to put alongside Ant for quite a while now. They chased Kevin Durant. They chased Giannis. They talked about James Harden. They talked about John Morant. Whenever there is a guy who is all-star caliber who might be available, they are trying to put something together. But when you study their roster, Danny, that is where I think it gets challenging, because is it Rudy Gobert who you're going to give up in terms of the big salary to make a deal like that work? Well, he's got 1 year left and is a huge reason why you just went to the West Finals 2 years in a row and then the second round this year. Jaden McDaniels is a guy that every team in the league would want to get their hands on. And I think to get one of the other guys that I mentioned, typically you would have to give up a player like that. Well, he's the closest thing that Ant has to a number 2 right now, and Julius Randle having about as good of a playoff run as Jalen Duren did is not helping his market when it comes to trade conversations. So not to say nothing can get done, they're going to try to figure something out there, but I just don't see where they can beat out some of the other offers in the market.
There's also a lot of weird reporting about leadership and effort and consistency and Chris Finch being frustrated with it. I look at a team that I really respect because they play their best ball in the playoffs. They seem to overachieve. They're very tough. Yeah. They're very physical. And I also feel like they are very stuck because all of the things that you mentioned, they would still fall short of the Thunder. They would still fall short of the Spurs. And that doesn't mean you don't try. I remember when Daryl Morey got really aggressive in the late 2010s with the Rockets, trying to go up against, the Golden State Warriors. And it's an admirable thing to try to chase down the big teams. But trading Julius Randle or making a run at a Kawhi Leonard or a Kevin Durant, they probably still have a glass ceiling of third best in the Western Conference as their absolute peak.
Could not agree more. And I think that while Ant has 3 years left on his deal, that means that the noise is not all that loud just yet. I think we are tiptoeing towards that stretch where if they can't make an impactful move this summer, then we're going to be trying to take a pulse on Ant. Are you happy there? Do you want to stay there? And it's going to be challenging, again, because they don't have the draft assets to beat some of these deals. That's the irony, and I'll say this quickly, of some of the star pursuits that are going to happen this summer. All the teams that have the assets to get deals done, a lot of them seem pretty content with what they have. OKC, San Antonio, Houston, a little bit surprisingly, does not seem to be as thirsty as some of these other teams, and those teams can get deals done. Minnesota, Detroit, those teams are in a tougher spot.
Yeah, running it back, never the most appealing thing, but might be what ends up happening for a team like Minnesota, who just ran into a real tough spot in the postseason. It's all leading up, though, to the Western Conference Finals, one of the most anticipated series that we have in a long time in the NBA. We're talking about Spurs and Thunder, and if OKC, my Thunder, are on upset alert. Coming up on First Things First. Back here on First Things First, Spurs head to Oklahoma City. They're taking on the Thunder, league MVP SGA, game one of the Western Conference Finals. Thunder 6.5-point favorites, but of course, anything can happen. Sam Amick still hanging out with us. And Sam, the producers won't like it, but I'm changing the question on the fly. Not can the Spurs steal game one? Of course they can. Will the Spurs steal game one?
Man, Danny, you want the bold prediction time, huh?
I know. You're a big J journalist, too. I'm sorry. I'll do it if you don't want to.
No, it's all good. I can play along. I'd say, yeah, they will. I'm going to go ahead and kind of own it. They win 4 out of 5 in the regular season and do it with the type of energy and the swagger and really a confidence that is far above what they've actually accomplished that leads into tonight. It really does lead into this game. This is the matchup everybody wanted to see. More importantly, here's where I think it gets really entertaining is the idea that Shea is going to be receiving the MVP trophy on the same night that Wemby is sitting there being forced to watch it. First of all, is he going to stay on the court? Is he going to go hide in the back and let his rage kind of build? We shall see. But I think Victor Wembanyama already sees himself as the best player in basketball. He got 5 MVP votes this year. That number is going to skyrocket year over year. So I think they can. It's a tough environment. OKC is as tough a place to win as a road team in the NBA, but I think they do it.
So I'm going to stick with my pick of the Thunder, but I do love that subplot. The guys talked about it earlier in the show, the David Robinson, Hakeem Olajuwon Part 2, what Dream did when he came out and watched David Robinson win that MVP award. If Wemby comes out and just goes like 40 and 20 on everybody, I don't know that anyone would be totally shocked by it. But I think the Thunder are deeper and more experienced, and I'm calling this like Chapter 1. I think these teams are going to meet for the next 5 years or so in the Western Conference. Should be awesome.
No, I agree. It'll be fun, but he's got a lot of motivation tonight. He's got to be composed. We'll see what happens.
Yes. Well, Sam, thank you so much. Enjoyed the games. We appreciate it. We're back tomorrow on First Things First.
Thank you, Danny.
You can't reason with the sun. Trust us, we've tried. This summer, it's time to put that angry ball of fire on mute. Columbia's OmniShade technology is engineered to protect you from the sun's harsh rays that can burn and damage your skin. The sun is relentless, but so is our gear. Level up your summer at Columbia.com to spend more time outside and less time slathering on aloe lotion. You're welcome. Columbia, engineered for whatever.